All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is a Friday afternoon, and we're with you until 6 p.m., and we've got a really good show lined up. Johnny Dasco will join us. He has been with the A's as a radio broadcaster since 2023 after a long-time minor league broadcasting career. Johnny Dasco will join us at 3:30. We'll talk about Padres A's. Kevin Acee will join us at 5 p.m. We'll get into the NBA's conference finals with Anthony Slater from ESPN. He will join us coming up at 4:30 as we turn our attention to this Memorial Day weekend here in San Diego. Padres are home. The weather's spectacular. I actually made this point earlier, Alan, with my wife. Oftentimes since we've moved out west, which is about 10 years ago, this was the weekend we were envious of people in the East. Why? Because oftentimes we found Memorial Day weekend, we would be like in the midst of May gray. It would be like 60 degrees, overcast skies.
This is here or back
here?
Oh, here, yeah.
But out east, it's 85 degrees, 95 degrees the time of year. People are by the water out east. However, my mom still lives out east. She's telling me it's a washout all weekend. It's really rainy. Today is like picture perfect Chamber of Commerce, San Diego.
I know.
And I'm looking forward to this Memorial Day weekend.
So just like a few days a year where maybe we don't have the best weather, you were complaining about that?
Well, when you put it like that, yes, I was. Yes, that's exactly right.
You just like literally found.
Well,
it's like you went to you went to Ruth Chris.
Yeah,
and I know you don't need steak, but it's like you're sitting there and you're finding something to complain about. You're like, you know what? These are the forks they use.
That's kind of who I am, actually. You summarized me very well. The thing is,
weather's incredible today.
San Diego gets that bad rap. They get the rap.
What rap to San Diego? I want to know is other than the only bad rap San Diego should get.
Let me hear it. Let me hear your bad rap as a San Diegan.
We don't have a chip.
That's fine. That's not a bad rap. That's not like San Diego's fault. That's not your fault.
Yeah, but
it's not the climate's fault.
But it's not a good look.
Fair.
Not a good look for San Diego.
My mother doesn't care. She doesn't even know that. You know what I mean? But with sports fans, yes. My knock, this would be the stereotype. Tell me I'm wrong. Is May gray, June gloom. So you have kind of a late summer. Your summer starts like July 4th weekend.
I think here's the problem. I think it's blown out of proproportion.
I think you're probably right.
You drive 15 minutes east of that ocean.
It's 100 degrees.
There's no, trust me there is no.
Is there no May gray in El Cajon?
Growing up in El Cajon, growing up in East County, all that stuff. You ain't got to worry about that.
I like it.
I mean, I know that happens more coastal, but for most San Diegans, let's just say Alpine's not having that issue.
So you're saying I shouldn't move to Duluth, Minnesota because it was gray for a couple of days in May of 2022?
I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think Ramona and Chula Vista and all these other areas are having that issue.
Okay, that's fair. We're giving away a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair, which, by the way, is hugging that water. So maybe bring a vest. Maybe bring a vest this June and July if it gets chilly. We'll give away a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair. Here's how to win. Today's question that you need to answer on our talkback mic relates to the Padres being 6th in MLB's power rankings right now at ESPN. So with that knowledge, do you see the Padres right now as a legit contender? Do you see the Padres as a legit contender? Open the iHeart app, search for 760, click on the talkback mic, leave a talkback. We'll play them throughout the show. Just by using the talkback mic, you are entered to win that 4-pack of tickets.
You got a shot here. We've been giving them away all week. Before we finish the show off today and we'll finish off the week, every single day for the first 4 days, we've been hooking people up. So This is your chance to try to take advantage of getting out there to Del Mar.
All right. So the breaking news story, developing news story with the Padres is Jackson Merrill's health. He left the game against the Dodgers 2 days ago after trying to make that leaping home run saving grab from Shohei Ohtani. Appeared to be bothered by his back. Today it's reported that he's more day-to-day. He has not been placed on the IL. He is not in the starting lineup tonight. Bryce Johnson is and will bat ninth. But Jackson Merrill, at least for the time being, has avoided an IL stint, which is significant.
It seems like we could be in the clear of this. I heard Craig Stammen saying a little bit earlier today, something to the effect of it's kind of the best case scenario that you could have got.
Good.
And, I think the couple things happened, and it's going to be important to kind of turn the page on that Dodger series and now start paying attention to all these other. By the way, the A's, Philadelphia coming up, who've been kind of one of the more hotter teams in all of baseball, especially since they fired their manager. But just kind of that last, I guess you could say that last few ounces left from the series against the Dodgers was you were 7 seconds into the game, and forget the Shohei home run. Okay, it happens, right? But it's the Jackson Merrill going up as high as he did, almost bringing that ball back, and then not feeling comfortable. So taking a loss to the Dodgers in May, no big deal.
Sure.
But more importantly is how's the health of your center fielder, Jackson Merrill? And I know, with Merrill's kind of been interesting, right? Like he's not getting nearly as much attention because so much attention is going. It's like, okay, if I'm ranking to you of the guys who are struggling, what percentage is getting most of the attention, right?
Can I do that real quick?
Yeah.
I'm going to use the big four, which includes Bogarts, because the sneaky little stat on Bogarts.
I'm with you on that.
Hitting 180 in the last 20 games.
But here's the funny thing. You could go,
he's on my pinky though.
But there's plenty of guys that you could mention. And even if it's like, okay, well, where's Fermin?
Right. Forget about those guys for a second. Mm-hmm. Just the big picture guys. If I'm splitting the pie in 100% with the four players. I wonder if we have the
same numbers.
You want to write them down real quick?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not great radio.
No, it's not.
It's not great radio. Hold on. Where are you putting it?
Okay, no, but here's we could talk.
Write it down.
We could talk while we're doing this.
No,
okay?
Put it in the rundown. Okay, I'm just going to say it.
Okay, well, before you do it, wait. Let me. Yeah, he's got to get that percentage.
Here's what I'm actually
doing. This is even low. I'm going to actually
write it down.
I'm going a little higher than my initial.
With all four players, include all four players. You could put a 0% if you want, but include all four players in your 100%.
I'm ready.
Okay, here's what I got.
I hope my math is right.
That'd be hilarious. 99%, 82%, 73%, and 14%. Like, dude, that's over 100.
417%.
Hear me out.
Yeah.
Toddy. That's your lead.
Oh, I think I gotta go. I think I gotta go higher on my number.
No, don't change it.
No, I think I have to.
Oh my god.
Well, but you didn't give me a number yet.
I'm about to, but
I know.
Then why are you going higher? Okay.
Because I think I have to. I don't think I have a choice here. Okay, I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. Toddy, 70%.
Oh, okay. I had 70. I put it up. It's 80.
Wow.
I think we spent 80% of our time.
I don't disagree with you. So I have no issue with that. Toddy for me is 70. Machado's 20.
I don't think we've given Machado 20. I think we've given him like 15.
True. Maybe we haven't done the perfect percentages, but I'm saying right now 20. What is even the question?
Because everybody's struggling, our attention, because I was talking about Jackson Merrill, what's kind of got lost in this Jackson Merrill he's struggling as well, but we talk about him so little because everybody else is struggling.
So I got 70, 20. What do you got for Machado? 10.
I got 10 from, 10. I got 80, 10. That should be 15. Should be 15 for Machado. Like and then I think literally it's 4 and 1.
I was going to say 9 and 1. So I had 70, 20, 9% Jackson Merrill. Yeah. I don't know if we've given him 9% of the time to complain about him, but I think that's fair. And then I would put 1% on Bogarts. He's barely been referenced here, although we've dropped it every 1%. Once in a while. Every once in a while we say, Bogarts has come back to earth. Bogarts has come back to earth. The more I keep saying that, all of a sudden Bogarts is not having that good of a season. Truthfully, he's got like a 700 OPS, which again is better than these other three. But it's kind of interesting that
because
two players are getting the lion's share, but maybe it's one player. To your point,
the Merrill conversation, we really haven't spent a lot of time on complaining about Jackson Merrill.
No,
we haven't, and we should be, and we would spend a lot more complaining about Jackson Merrill if Tatis and Machado were playing.
Great,
right, and that hasn't been the case. But even the difference between our opinion on Tatis versus our opinion on Machado, it's a significant difference between the two players as far as complaints go.
I agree. It's like the thing with Machado, and tell me if you think this is overblown or I make too much of this. The thing I would say about Machado is he's been here so long and he basically ends up with the same season a lot. Where Tatis has been in the big leagues a similar amount of time to Machado in San Diego, right? But the difference is Tatis has had more wild swings. I mean, even a lost season, top 3 MVP to pedestrian offensive numbers.
Sure.
I don't feel like Machado's had a good year. He finished second for MVP one year. That was a terrific year. But I don't know if he's ever had a season where it's like, oh my gosh, what on earth happened?
No, Machado's been the more just kind of level, steady.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't mean, I think some of the complaints is in some of the bigger moments or in the postseason,
completely.
what have his numbers look like? But he's also had moments. He had the home run last year against Chicago and the Dodgers series. I remember game one. I'm trying to think on time, but I remember because I was there at Dodger Stadium when he hits the 3-run homer in 2024 in game one. He's had, now that doesn't mean Tatis hasn't had moments as well.
Really
he's had some big moments, but it feels like he's been more consistent, and Tatis is the one that's more of a roller coaster.
And that's why I think right now I'm going where I'm going. I just like Dan Szymborski from Fangraphs who came on. He's like, Manny Machado's batting average on balls in play, his BABIP, is so bad.
What do they call it?
BABIP.
My God. Baseball sometimes, man.
Because it's batting average balls in play.
I get all of that, but just the fact that they call it
there's no
BABIP.
NFL, NBA equivalent that I would ever say.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's that crazy. I mean, that's so sabermetric to say it. And that's why I said batting average on balls in play. But Szymborski was like, his BABIP is 190. And the average pitcher when pitchers hit in the big leagues was 230. So his average is going way up. It's just by hitting the ball, inevitably his batting average is going to improve. It's like historically low. He's just unlucky. So a little of me is like, okay, he's gotten unlucky. That's going to go up. With Tatis, I'm like, has he gotten unlucky? Well, he's hit the ball hard, John. But yeah, he's hit it into the ground, I feel like. So it's a long way of saying it. All time is a flat circle. It keeps coming back to Fernando Tatis Jr. and a little bit to Machado.
It sounds like with Tatis too, and I know we're kind of part of our conversation jump from the Jackson Merrill piece of this, but it sounds like with the Tatis, he's not there. There's not going to be. It could change, but it sounds like they can keep him, kind of top of the order.
Right. He's lead off today.
Lead off today. Yeah. And I don't know how much you agree with that. I think I still agree with putting him deeper into the order. Not that the pressure is going to be any less, because I think wherever you put him right now, there's an unbelievable amount of pressure on Tatis because he's yet to hit a home run.
I agree.
And he's the conversation wherever you go. But it sounds like he's still going to be kind of towards the top of the order.
You just entertained an interesting question, which is what if the Big Four return to the Big Four form? What if the Big Four actually played like the Big Four? Would that change your opinion on the Padres here right now or later in 2026? Plus your talkbacks. Do you see the Padres right now as a contender? Open the iHeart app, search for 760, click on the talkback microphone, and let us know if you see the Padres as a contender. We'll play those on air. And if you do that, you're qualified to win a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair. And Johnny Dasco, radio broadcaster for the Athletics, will join us at 3:30 here on Schaefer and Sliwa. Stay with us.
It's not perfect music for just Friday afternoon.
Heading into a long weekend.
The beautiful weather.
No May Gray.
Come on. All right, San Diego Sports 760 has 9 chances for you to win $1,000 with the Bonus Bucks contest. Listen every hour, 9 a.m. through 5 p.m. Listen for the nationwide keyword, then enter it at sportssd.com. Your next chance to win $1,000 is coming up soon. Stay right here on San Diego Sports 760.
All right, Brent's going to find us a good talk back for the next handful of minutes on, do you see the Padres as a contender?
Are they a contender?
Right now, are they a contender? Open the app, search for 760, click the talk back microphone. Are the Padres a contender? Answer that. We'll play some of them on air. You're qualified to win a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair.
Just to set some of this up too, we saw ESPN does a power rank. I think they do it every Thursday. Well, it has to be every Thursday because it had the record of after the Dodger series. So it was based
through
off
Wednesday's game.
Through Wednesday's game. And if I told you, I know you and I have already talked about it, but if I said, where do you think the Padres are in ESPN's power ranking? This is all teams in Major League Baseball. What would you have said? What we already know now, or no?
I would have said 6 is too high.
Okay, because they have them 6th, and I think 4th in just the NL.
Here's why I would have said that. Like run differential, I think the Padres right now are +4. It's either +3 or +4. The A's, for example, are -3, and the A's are 26 and 24. The Padres are 29 and 20. You could argue both are slightly exceeding expectations. The Padres actually much more so than the A's. But I just think that run differential part of it, and it's everything we've talked about ad nauseum here over the last couple of weeks. I don't think, other than their record, they've proven to be a top 20% team in the sport. I probably would have put them, Alan, 10th. I think 10th is more fair for what they've accomplished, 10th or 11th. What about you?
Do you think 10th or 11th? Okay, it's a little far. It's a little deep out there.
So that's a fringy, but in playoff.
So
team.
basically, like based on how you see the Padres, you want AJ Preller to just get rid of everybody.
No, I didn't say that. I see them as a fringy. I see them as in.
You want them
on
to
the
move
right
to
side.
Oakland. You just said you want them to move to Oakland.
What I said is, yes, trade everyone and move.
Yes.
To LA.
Relocate.
No, I didn't say that.
All right. Okay.
Where would you put him first? Is this baseball's best team?
I think 8th, 9th. But if you and I are answering the question, so on the talk back, we put on there, do you see the San Diego Padres today as a contender? I'll be completely frank with you. I'm going to be very, very honest with you.
Please.
Right now, I have a very, very difficult time thinking. Now, it's subjective, I guess, as your definition of a contender.
Yep.
But I'm going to take contender as in they are one of the, let's say, 3 teams as a favorite to come out of the NL. That's maybe my definition as a contender. I don't think they are today. I think their record would tell you that they are, because I think if you're 9 games over 500 at this stretch, I think if you have one of those kind of top 3-4 records in the NL, I think your record would tell you that. But I don't think what they are currently doing today is sustainable. And I do think that they have the potential to be a contender, but that means Tatis is balling. That means Machado is balling. That means Nick Pivetta is back. It also means Giolito is kind of rounding into form and being more of a. So, do they have the capability of being a contender? I do think they are, and I also know AJ Preller is just very, very aggressive, and anything can happen by the trade deadline. But based on how they've played so far this season, I kind of walk a little bit away from that. But I'm going to eat my own words here for a second because I don't think they played the Dodgers bad. And if the Dodgers is the class of all of baseball, I thought they kind of hung with the Dodgers.
Here's how I look at it. Forget about the Dodgers series for a second. Forget about their record for a second. And let's discuss the things that ultimately are going to matter or not for the Padres making a deep run. And I agree with your points. It's what those individual players do in all likelihood is going to matter for them to make a run. And if you told me they were 29 and 20 and Tatis had hit 11 home runs and Manny had hit 10, and they had combined to have a 970 OPS right now, I'd be like, I'm high on this team. I know they've blown some leads, but I'm going to, like if there was a different area of concern, I'd be like, I trust Preller to fix that. You still have Mason Miller. Maybe they need to address the rotation, but Toddy and Machado are balling, and that is a key distinction from the way the postseason played out at the end of 2024 and 2025. But I'm with you. I think it's in them, but it's a little wishful because for 50 games, I've watched these players underperform, and I'm hopeful that they can overperform maybe for the next 50 or 100 games. So I'm with you. I think it's in them, but I'm going to need to see it with my own two eyes beyond their record. That's kind of how I look at it right now. Yeah. We're in the same spot, by the way, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. That's not that far. I think we think they're just outside.
Don't try to bring me up to 11th, okay? I've said firm at 8th.
16th?
I said 8th.
That's
all right.
Funny.
I said 8th. Now, listen, it's an interesting conversation. And I think, what I'm most interested in over these next couple of games, the Dodger series always has, that's the first Dodger series I've ever been a part of while I'm on radio here on a day-to-day basis. Sure. And there's weight that comes with that. And there's you do feel it as much as I try to, try to downplay it because I think it's beneficial to the Padres in a sense to downplay the series. Obviously comes with a lot of weight. And especially I think for some reason, the fact that the games are in San Diego, I think also comes with additional weight on top of that. But what I'm curious to see is how do you rebound? All right, you lost 2 or 3. It's not like, these games were awful. You even had opportunities against Shohei and you didn't capitalize on it. Can you follow up this series against the A's with 2 or 3? Because after that, you got one of the hottest teams in the NL coming into town in Philly. Did you see, by the way, I didn't even notice this. Cubs have lost 6 in a row.
Man, they've been roller coastering their way through the year. 2 10-game winning streaks and now a 6-game losing streak.
What the hell happened? Is that not?
They lost 6 straight. They were outscored in 6 straight baseball games.
6 straight games.
It was insane.
They had less runs than the opposing team.
You should have seen it, man. It was incredible. Let's learn more about the A's from Johnny Dasco, who's been calling their games since 2023. He worked for the Sacramento River Cats for 20 years, the AAA team in Sacramento. Now he's calling Major League games.
That's pretty fun.
In Sacramento. Johnny Dasco will join us on the other side as the Padres get ready for the A's. This is Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by eBay. The Padres are getting set for start their series tonight down at Petco Park against the A's. It's going to be Jeffrey Springs going for the A's and Walker Buehler on the hill for the Friars. First pitch is set for 6:40. We got Western Conference Finals in the NBA Game 3 of Spurs Thunder tonight. It's going to tip off a little after 5:30. Injury report, Dylan Harper is a game-time decision for San Antonio. De'Aaron Fox is listed as questionable, and Thunder forward Jalen Williams is also listed as questionable with a hamstring. SDFC is back at Snapdragon Stadium tomorrow night when they take on Vancouver. Our coverage with Adrian and Darren begins at 6 o'clock. eBay is home to millions of finds, and each one becomes part of your story, from your favorite vintage band tee to your dream car you've been searching for, or that foul ball you heroically gave away. It's all there on eBay. eBay, things people love.
All right, Padres Athletics game 1 coming up tonight from Petco Park. You've got the 29-20 Padres, and you've got an A's team that's in first place right now in the AL West at 2 games over 500. We have Johnny Dasco with us right now, radio broadcaster for the Athletics, with us on Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. Johnny, we appreciate you taking time for us. What has been the story of the pretty strong start? I think I've seen the come from behind wins, obviously, including the last couple of games. Has that been one of the big storylines of the first 2 months of the season? And thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, thanks. Great to be with you guys. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, it's been a combination of some things. I think the bullpen has performed a little bit better than people had anticipated at the start of the year, and the starting pitching's been pretty good. And they've found, Nick Kurt's been on base 44 straight games. Shea Langoliers has had an all-star type season. So we've had some parts. I don't think the offense has really completely clicked as they will. I mean, they're going to get on a roll here. They're going to start to, it's just a matter of time, I think. So this team we've been treading water a little bit, even though we're in first place at 26-24, you'll win 4, lose 3, win 2, lose 3, win 5, lose 2. So it's kind of been hovering around that 500 mark for a little while. But I do think we've seen some things that are encouraging for the future, especially with the way the bullpen's performed. So there have been some good surprises, but there's still a long way to go.
Johnny, how much of kind of a shock is it to see that they're in the position that they're in? How sustainable is it? Just, I guess, as you look at the division and what some of the expectations were coming into the season, how much of this is a surprise to you?
You know what? The West, I think we all thought at the beginning of the year, the West is a pretty winnable division. The Astros, they always seem to be there down the stretch, but they're a little down. The Angels are really struggling right now. I mean, they're playing .333 baseball. They've been pretty bad. The Mariners, I think, were the favorites coming in, and so they're going to be tough, and they're going to get on a roll here at some point. Texas has that good starting pitching, but overall, I thought the West was winnable here in 2026. So surprised, not really. I think the expectations going into last year was kind of a little more survival, right? Try to get to 500. This year, the expectations from the jump has been win the division. So I don't think they're surprised. I think they're surprised they're only 2 games over 500. But look, big leagues are hard. It's a hard league to win in. So I do think that there are some good things ahead, and I think this team is encouraged. Now, look, the schedule is not getting any easier here. Look, you have the Padres, you got the Yankees coming up, you got the Mariners coming up. So this is going to be a challenging series. But you win one of these 3 games against the Padres, you find yourself with a winning road trip after taking 3 out of 4 from the Angels. So I don't think they're really surprised, guys. But I do think that the division's kind of it's been you can call it parity, you can call it mediocrity, but the division has it looks like a winnable division.
Yeah, you want to switch divisions with us? We're happy to do.
Yeah, you
so.
want to be in the Dodgers division?
Just get in. Try it out.
Exactly.
Try it out.
Johnny Dasco is with us right now. Calls games for the Athletics. Of course, they're playing in Sacramento on their way to Las Vegas in 2028. I'm curious from your seat, what's it been like to watch the job Mark Kotsay has done over the years? Because it's been, the 50 win year, and then they're up to like 70 games, and then it's mid 70s. And like to your point, maybe this is the year they get into the 80s or the mid 80s. What type of job has he done over this period of time to point this team in a positive direction?
This guy is unbelievable. I mean, to watch what this guy, as you guys know, is competitive as they come. And to go through a 50-win season when you didn't have a lot to work with. It's just one of those tough years. And then to slowly build on that 50-win season and get a little bit better, 69 the next year, then 76 the next year. So so the expectation's a little higher this year because each year this team has got progressively better, but he's such a great players manager. I mean, talk about open door policy. You hear that cliche a lot, but every player feels like Kotsay has his back. Every player knows his role. Kotsay's really good with people, knows how to manage a bullpen. We've had some games this year where he's managed the bullpen so brilliantly. Just to have Kotsay there, he's just a rock with this team. And it's like it really is. I mean, it's such a cliche to say it's a family, but it really is. And these players believe in Kotsay. They love him. I talk to players all the time, and they feel very lucky to have Kotsay as their man in charge.
Johnny Dasco, who's the radio broadcaster for the A's, joining us here on the Schaefer and Sliwa show. I'm just kind of curious about this. What has been the experience in the A's home games? And I know this is not something that just happened yesterday, but what's that experience like for home fans? What's that experience like for road fans that are trying to get out there? What just kind of explain to us. We obviously know what a unique situation it is.
It is. Look, and you're talking to somebody who's a little biased on it because I spent 22 years broadcasting with the River Cats. So for me, it's kind of a full circle moment, and to come back to a place where I called almost a quarter century of minor league games there, it's unique, and I love it. It's like a reunion every night. But
you got power. You got pull over there to move them to Sacramento. Look at you.
It's awesome, man. It's awesome coming back there. But I will say this. Look, this year we've seen more green and gold in the ballpark. There's more energy. I don't know if it's because we signed some of these guys long term, but there's way more energy. Even though the fans know that next year after 27 that they're gone to Vegas, there's been a different type of positive energy at the ballpark. Like last year, you didn't see a ton of green and gold at the ballpark. You saw like baseball fans come out; they were intrigued. There's big league baseball in their backyard, but I think now I don't know if it's the Soderstrom extension or all the they had 4 extensions. Jacob Wilson got extended, but there's a little more, and they're winning. So there's a little more green and gold fever at the ballpark that we feel. So the energy's there. You're drawing pretty well every night. Of course, Yankees coming to town soon. So, and you do see a lot of, when the Giants were in town, it's Giants country up there. So there are a lot of Giant fans up there, but look, it's really fun. It's really fun to get to see these big leaguers up close for some of these fans. 12,000, 13,000 seat stadium, with the berm, I think it comes out to about 12.8, but people love it. And look, it's an ideal for the players. We had to go through a big adjustment period. Severino struggled there, still kind of struggles at that ballpark. And so it's different playing in a AAA ballpark. But that being said, the players are getting used to it now in the second year, a little more comfortable with it. But from a fan's perspective, it's really unique and cool because you're seeing those big leaguers up close.
Johnny, I remember when I called minor league baseball games, when I ever see a new team, you start writing in your lineup card and you're like, wait, hold on. This Tigers prospect's hitting like 160. Like, what's going on here? As you write in your lineup tonight, you're like, are you serious? Like, Toddy hasn't hit a home run, and Machado's hitting whatever he's hitting, 178, and Jackson Merrill's out, but he's hitting 200. That's got to be shocking as a visiting broadcaster with the expectations of the Padres and those names to see how much some of this offense is underperformed, right?
It's amazing. I saw Tatis has not hit a home run, and I know his hard hit rate's incredible. Like I know he's swinging it doesn't make any sense. And to see Machado with the struggles that Machado's having, I think he's hitting like 114 in May. It just doesn't make sense, and it kind of worries you when you see those averages. You're like, when are they going to bust out? Bust out after this series, because they're going to bust out. You look at the back of their baseball cards; it's obvious that Tatis and Machado, they're going to hit. Bogart's going to hit. These guys are going to. Of course, you have Andujar in the 2 slot. We have Miguel, and he's always going to hit. You'll never have to worry about Miguel not hitting. He's always going to hit. But I'm surprised, and it shows you how good this bullpen's been with the Padres, right? I think it's the best bullpen in baseball. So, you kind of piece together the rotation with the injuries and everything, but the bullpen has been tremendous. Of course, guy at the back end who's maybe the best to ever do it. So you get a lead, the Padres are going to win the game, and that's why they're 9 games over 500. But the offense, I think, will get going at some point, I would think.
Yeah, we can't wait 3 more games. I mean, I know you're trying to be very polite here and tell they've waited long enough. I mean, I don't know how much more you want them to wait. Quick question on Mason Miller. Have you got a chance? I mean, even if you're not following the Padres on a day-to-day basis, he has been a it's been a national story on top of just obviously a story in San Diego. What as people look and they obviously see the trade, the Padres getting Mason Miller. What have you made of what he's done so far, and how do I don't know, maybe even people within the organization feel about that trade?
They still feel good about it because you got, and obviously DeVries the key piece, right? DeVries, the A's believe, I believe that the A's believe he's a franchise guy, right? So look, you have to give up a lot to get a lot, and you certainly gave up a lot of Mason Miller, but you're getting a guy in DeVries who could be a superstar in this league. So to me, I'd still make the trade, even seeing what Mason's doing this year, what Mason will do in his career. I still think it's going to be a good trade for the A's. One of those win-win trades for both clubs because he's the premier. I mean, this guy, Mason Miller, he could win a Cy Young the way he's just one of the doing things that no relievers have ever done. So, yeah, look, I think obviously you look at the success, and I think A's fans may say, why'd you make that trade? But they will be happy they made that trade, I believe, when DeVries gets going. DeVries has dominated every level he's gone to, and I know that was the key piece, obviously the only piece that would have allowed the A's to trade Miller. So time will tell, obviously, but yeah, Miller's pretty special. I mean, I think when it's all said and done, he'll be maybe the best reliever, one of the best relievers in the history of the game, what he's doing.
Johnny, wasn't that, take me through it because I kind of forget now because it's been a few months, but didn't the A's at the time be like, we weren't even trading him? Like there was no reason for us to really trade him, but AJ just kept calling. And like at some point you're going to listen because you're trying to do what's best for your organization. Then they were willing to give us so much. It made sense for us, but it's not like they were trying to move Mason Miller, right? It almost only would have taken something that AJ Preller could offer for it to happen, right?
Sure. I mean, the number of calls that David got on Mason Miller, I don't even know how many. Yeah. I haven't asked David about it, but there were obviously just dozens and dozens of calls on proposed trades for Mason Miller. Everybody wanted Mason Miller. It took DeVries to get Mason Miller. Yeah. So he's unique. I'm excited. I mean, I hope I don't see him in this series. Again, if we could wait just 3 games till we see Mason Miller, that would be fantastic. I'm not asking for much. Look, it's a long season, guys, 162 games. I'm not asking for much. It's 3 more games.
You said right? 10 minutes ago, if they take 1 of 3, then they had a good road trip.
Well, they're changing my tune right now.
Johnny, appreciate you taking time for us. We're looking forward to this. Can I
squeeze one more quick? Just can you tell us how the progress is going in Vegas? And I just want to know. I'm curious how that's going, and if it's kind of you can maybe update people how according to plan or whatever the case is.
Yeah, it's going great. Look, we'll be up there in June. I'll have a chance to tour the facility again, but it's like the concrete's in, and it's looking like a little bit more of a stadium right now. Like it's coming, and I know. It's funny, a number of people that ask me, is it going to happen in 2028? Like, yes, it's going to happen in 2028. I promise you it's going to happen in 2028. So it's going to be really cool. Yeah, right. I mean, it's moving. So yeah, no, I've seen the progress. People have sent me pictures, and I cannot wait to be there in June. We have 3 games against the Rockies, 3 against the Brewers. There'll be, these are big league regular season games that we're playing at the Aviators ballpark, but we'll have 7 days there. So I'm going to check out the facility, and I can't wait.
All right, well, stay cool when you're there outside at the Aviators Stadium. I know it'll be cooler once you get there in 2028. Yeah. Johnny, appreciate you taking time for us. Enjoy the weekend in San Diego. Thanks for doing it.
Thank you, anytime, guys. Call me anytime.
Appreciate it. Johnny Dasco, again, radio broadcaster for
the dude. A's. Nice guy.
Really good dude.
Yeah.
On the other side, let's switch gears for a moment to San Diego State football and the lengths Sean Lewis will go in an effort to fill Snapdragon Stadium in 2026.
You know that firsthand here.
I was with him when he did what we're going to discuss on the other side last night. Stay with us. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. We're live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, we're going to get to the wrap at 4 p.m. Brian, let's play Talkback if we have one. If you want to win a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair, open the iHeart app, search for 760, click the Talkback microphone, and tell us if you see the Padres as a contender. And we've got some people, Alan, that have weighed in here during the 3 o'clock hour.
See what they got. What do they got here?
What do they got for us? Are the Padres a contender? Let's take a listen.
My name is Serena. Of course, I'd love the Padres to be playoff contenders, but if history has proven anything, it doesn't happen. Who wouldn't want to see their team go into the playoffs and, just cinch the role? But it just hasn't happened. It's unfortunate, but every year we hope for the best and prepare for the worst.
Hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
I'll tell you what that is. That kind of comes, and we appreciate Serena doing that. By the way, if you do a talk back, let us know what part of SD you're in as well. We'll give a shout out to the area that you're in. But one thing that I will say is that goes back to the conversation of, well, it hasn't happened before, so it's not going to happen again. Like her talking about why the Padres are not a contender, she's not like listing these, look at their batting average there. And not that, she needs to. But
it's more based on their history.
It's more based on their history.
We talked about yesterday.
Exactly what we talked about yesterday.
That's the fan base psyche to the player psyche.
Mm-hmm.
Not always the same, but I do understand it. It's like the Padres as an organization have only been to, they've only been to 2 World Series.
Well, and there's an attachment, there's a thread here.
Yep.
I understand why the thread is there. My hope and our hope is over time, you're able to just like, hey, whatever's happened in the past.
Yeah, let go of it.
It is what it is. But there is a thread here. And it's like, I told you this. I had a buddy of mine that every game San Diego's or SDFC is playing in the playoffs. He's like, we got Minnesota.
They're losing.
See
how bad this is going to be.
I'm like, what does this have to do? He's like, you remember how many times did the Chargers? I'm like, what the hell does that have to do with it? And then he'll go again. He's like, you've seen the Padres.
Yeah. Remember, LT was hurt, and that impacts SDFC how?
But can I tell you something? I do think there's a lot of people that think, well, we've never got over the hump.
So we're not going to.
So why would it change this time? Where I think if you take the same thing and if you have a city that has had success.
Oh, absolutely,
it's like,
dude. Boston.
Oh, this is gonna get figured out.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I think the psyche of a fan base is a really interesting thing. And I think what Serena said, by the way, I would say this. I think a majority, nowhere near all, but I would say there's a lot of people, maybe it's not even the majority, but a lot of San Diego sports fans have a similar opinion on their sports teams to Serena. That would be my guess.
Listen, I'd be lying to you if I didn't say that thing doesn't creep up in my head.
Of course,
84 times a day,
because you've obsessed
1,000 times during the Dodger series.
Because you've lived it, you've gone through it. All right,
you've driven around when you have tickets to Game 5, and you said you're not going to
even go into the stadium against the Dodgers in 2024, like Allen did. It didn't go to Dodger Stadium, but had the ticket. That's incredible.
But it was one of the few right decisions in my life.
It's still ridiculous. All right. So last night, I'm at a coach's caravan event with San Diego State. We were at one last week, right?
Yep.
Up in North County. Yesterday in Mission Valley at Novo, Brazil. Great spot. And a number of the coaches are speaking. Sean Lewis, Brian Dutcher, and others. The last part, there's a Q&A. And at the end, there's people asking questions, Aztec alum. And the last question for Sean Lewis, who was wearing a brand new Pac-12 polo. Really nice polo shirt.
Cool. Yep.
The guy asked the question, I think his last name is actually Schaefer, because Kirk Henning, the UT, wrote about this, and the USA Today has written about it today as well, nationally. And the gentleman's last name was Schaefer. I forget his first name. He asked Sean Lewis if he could have his shirt because he liked it had a Pac-12 logo on it for the first time for San Diego State. And Sean was going to give him his shirt if he had season tickets. So he's like, we're going to get your shirt.
Pretty bold to ask the head coach of the San Diego State football program, hey, you mind if I grab that shirt from you?
Right. So he asked him, and Sean was like, well, certainly you have season tickets, right? You're at this fan event. There's only, a couple hundred people. It's an intimate environment. And the fan goes, no, I don't have season tickets. And Sean said, I will literally take this shirt off my back right now if you go over to this ticket table and buy a pair of season tickets. And gosh darn it, he did. The fan went over to the table. Sean took off his shirt. Now he had a t-shirt on underneath. But that's the extent that Sean Lewis was willing to go to yesterday in an effort for San Diego State again, to turn its attention to its fan base to get more people potentially inside Snapdragon Stadium.
We should have, whether it's Sean Lewis or something like that, but we probably, do we see them next Thursday?
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see Sean. I think probably JD Wicker.
Okay.
Yeah, because we'll be there next Thursday.
I think I don't have the answer to this, but I think, and if there's any San Diegans that are out there that want to give their opinion on this, if you don't have season tickets, or maybe you haven't gone out to a San Diego State football game, and there's any information of why you haven't, or why either you haven't done it in the past or you haven't done it right now, any info I think helps, because you and I are going to do this, and I'm going to continue to do it. I know you are as well. I think of everything San Diego has right now. I think the sleeping giant, the one with the most opportunity, is San Diego State football. I do. I think San Diego State football, I could just envision in my head, hey, what's SDFC look like when it's packed? I got a chance to see it, and I think as long as SDFC is good, they're going to get great results as far as what that stadium is going to look like. I think in my head, I don't have to think of Petco Park because I know what that place is, and I know the potential, and they've lived up to a lot of that potential. I think of San Diego State basketball. I've seen it plenty of time what Viejas Arena looks like. You know what I have yet to see? I've yet to see an SDSU football game where there ain't a seat in that house, and that it is kind of that must ticket that everyone wants. When I say I feel like it's a sleeping giant, I genuinely believe that. And it sounds like they're taking steps in the right direction. The question is there going to be that leap where San Diego State football, it's like, hey, that's the place to be in San Diego on a Saturday night, period.
Yeah, it's interesting. Again, Sean Lewis literally took his shirt off to get someone to buy 2 tickets. And it was really cool. It was really a really unique scene.
Your head coach, whatever it takes.
For our listeners, what would it take for you to pick up a pair of season tickets to support the Aztecs in their first year of the Pac-12? I mean, it's $175 a ticket. What is it going to take for you? And maybe it's not a season ticket. Maybe it's to bring you and your family out to the opener or one of the games on a Saturday night. What is it going to take to get you out to Snapdragon Stadium this fall? 877-767-4760 if you want to weigh in on that.
And I'd also say this, the beauty of buying, if you're able, do I sound like an infomercial right now? Sure, but I think it's good for San Diego when San Diego State football is not just good, but there's a packed house as well. Sure. I've done this before. I bought I think it was quarter season Padres. Quarter season, right?
20 games.
At 20 games. How many of those 20 did I actually go to?
0.
I probably went to 6 or 8 of them, which means I was taking care of family, friends, that.
Yeah.
And I think that's a similar thing you would do with San Diego State football. You don't got to go to every game, but there's a very, very good chance that there's a family member, a friend, or something like that if you gave them 2 tickets, maybe they haven't been to Snapdragon, maybe it just hasn't been on their bucket list, you could probably get somebody else to go. So there's a way to use it that's not just for you going to every game. You take care of some others in the process.
If you want to weigh in on that, again, 877-767-4760, or our text line is 70470. Start it with the word team. We're going to get to the wrap on the other side of this break. Plus, Anthony Slater works with ESPN, covers the NBA. Tonight, Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals. This massive series between the Spurs and the Thunder. His perspective on that, the Eastern Conference Finals, and more, including upcoming NBA free agency, which will kick off in a few weeks as well. Anthony Slater will join us at 4:30. Kevin Acee at 5 p.m. This is Schaefer and Slee, West San Diego Sports 760. We're live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by a mattress firm. The Padres and A's are getting set for their series down at Petco Park tonight. It's going to be Jeffrey Springs going for the Athletics and Walker Buehler going for the Padres. First pitch is set for 6:40. We got game 3 of the Western Conference Finals tonight at 5:30 when the Thunder takes on San Antonio. A few injury notes. Dylan Harper is a game time decision for the Spurs. De'Aaron Fox is listed as questionable, as is Jalen Williams for the Thunder. Tomorrow night, SDFC is back at Snapdragon Stadium to take on Vancouver. Our coverage with Adrian and Darren will begin at 6 o'clock. Ready to upgrade to the perfect sleep setup? Let Mattress Firm sleep experts guide you to the perfect bed at the Memorial Day sale. Top brands, ideal comfort, score unbeatable deals on both. Mattress Firm, they make sleep easy.
All right, hour 2. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, giving away a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. If you want to weigh in, if you want to be entered to win that 4-pack of tickets, open the iHeartRadio app, search for 760.
First one was phenomenal.
Mike. Yeah, we heard from Serena earlier. If you want to weigh in, open the open the app, search for 760, click on the Talkback mic, and answer this question. Do you see the Padres as a contender? We'll play your talkbacks throughout the course of the next 2 hours.
Serena brought some wounds into play.
Yeah, she did. She's like,
but I get it.
I've seen this before.
I get where she's coming from. And every time I open my mouth, I'm like, Al, you're very similar. By the way, can I just give you one quick update here real quick?
Sure.
They're getting, I'm showing my sparkling water right now to the camera here on YouTube. It's getting demolished in the refrigerator. I put a box in there of 8. I want to say I put a box in there of 8, let's say within the last week.
It was like a week ago. How many of you drank?
Okay, I'm going to.
Well, you gave me one.
Let's say I had 3. And you've had 1.
So that's 4.
That's 4. It's a box of 8.
Yeah.
When I went to get this one, Brett, if you knew how far my arm had to go in that box to grab one.
Well, is this number 5 you're
There's
thinking?
only one left.
So you're saying we're -2.
We're -2 right now. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about,
stolen.
We got a kitchen here that is obviously community. Everyone could put whatever they want in the refrigerator. What I'm starting to realize here that I think some people think those sparkling waters are fair game.
Well, I told you this day one, this was going to happen. This is whisper down the, what do we call those kids? Whisper down the line?
Telephone game.
The telephone game. It's whatever I whisper to you is never going to end up at like the 8th kid. And anytime someone puts something in a refrigerator at work, it's never going to end up the way it should. Like you would think nobody would take sparkling water, but inevitably it's going to happen.
Yeah, but you can tell me whatever you want, but I have to run my own investigation.
They have a camera. We could run the film back if you want to watch like 86 hours of film.
It's probably going to have to be something like that.
Do that this weekend. Run it back.
I'll come back in here.
Who are the candidates to have done it?
What do you do? Like, do I start just going like office to office, cubicle to cubicle?
No, send out the email. Hey guys, it's me, Alan.
I'm going to tell you the last thing I'm going to do is send out an email to everyone at iHeart San Diego and say, hey, I don't know if you guys seen, but there's 2 of these missing. And I just need to know if anybody knows where they are. Maybe you accidentally took it.
Yeah, please replace it.
Could I just be like off with my numbers and nobody has taken anything? What's more likely? It's
possible. No, I think they've probably been taken. Yeah. What's more likely is people are just opening the fridge.
They are grabbing these.
They literally have a camera on that thing to prevent that. All right, Anthony Slater on the ESPN.
Unbelievable.
Anthony Slater on the NBA from ESPN will join us coming up at 4:30. Kevin Acee, our Padres Insider, will join us coming up at 5. But right now, let's get to this.
I guess my quick solution, buy a less tasty flavor.
It's good flavor.
It's time for the wrap. Presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Who's going to grab game 3 tonight between the Spurs and Thunder?
Game 3. So you told me the spread? You said it was 1.5.
-1.5.
At home.
Yeah. That's San Antonio. Yep.
That scares me a little bit. Okay, do we know De'Aaron Fox yet? I know
questionable.
And Dylan Harper is a game time decision as well.
Correct.
How the hell
Williams questionable?
Correct.
How the hell did we guess on this based off of all that?
All these players,
and they'll probably have. No, they can go, I think, up to about a half hour before the game starts where they have to tell you. San Antonio has to have one of their guards. If they have one of their guards, I'm going to give them the edge. If they don't have both of their point guards, poor freaking Stephon Castle is going to keep breaking records of how many turnovers are out there. He's not a natural point guard. I think they need one of their guards. I'll give the edge to San Antonio.
I'm going with the MVP tonight.
Yeah.
And that is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. All the attention on Wemby, by the way.
You might be right on this.
The highest Game 2 ratings in NBA history just came in, and they were Game 2 of the Thunder-Spurs series. Over 10 million viewers after over 9 million viewers in Game 1.
I love this.
The most rated Game 1 in Western Conference Finals.
I'm so happy for basketball, NBA fans, or even casuals that are saying, hey, I don't care it's not the big market or any of that, because sometimes with the NBA that happens. It's like it has to be the sexiest matchup. I love that people who are watching are saying that's good basketball and I want to watch it.
You know why it is?
Because of Wemby?
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, right? It's Wemby. Obviously, it's Wemby.
I
the Wemby
think,
effect
by the way,
is real.
your prediction on thinking the Thunder wins, I gotta kind of have a little bit of a feeling that Thunder are going to play really well tonight.
I'm going to trust the Thunder to win this series, which means I do think, well, they have to get one of these on the road at some point. They've already dropped a home game. So I think tonight is the night for the Thunder on the road in San Antonio. I
wonder how much the Peacock thing factors into the ratings. If you would have switched the Knicks series and put that on Peacock, would their ratings be higher? Because everyone gets NBC. Not everyone gets ESPN.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
True.
I don't know, but the numbers are big. Next question.
Do the Padres go 4-2 or better on the rest of their homestand?
4-2 or better on the rest of their homestand. I think they go 3-3.
3-3 on the homestand.
I think they go 3-3 on the homestand.
Okay.
At 3-3 the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know why. I can't tell you. I think that, listen, they're playing two squads. Philadelphia has been playing great baseball. The A's seemingly, top of their division. I think that'll be very competitive. It's more, John, I just want to see a little bit more from the Padres right now. That's all. Just it more has to do with that. And again, 3-3 is not a terrible. The world's not going to end. I say they go 3-3.
I'll take the bait. I'll say 4-2. Okay. I think the A's at home, you're probably favored to win that series.
2 or 3 there.
Philadelphia's been very good. So yeah, that's arguable if you can win that series as well. And we know the Padres are dealing right now with real injuries, and add Jackson Merrill to it, at least for a day or 2 or 3. Jackson Merrill apparently is going to be out of the equation. He's not in the starting lineup here tonight. Was dealing with back injury from the game against the Dodgers. But yeah, I'll fall for it. They lost 2 of 3 to the Dodgers, which means if they go 4-2 from here on out, it's a 5-4 homestand, which I'm signing up for. So yeah, I think they go 4-2 over the next.
You remember earlier in the show when you said they were, I think, 26th
in the power rankings for me?
Yeah,
no, I said 29th.
Oh, you said 29th.
No, I think the Padres are a good team, and I think they'll show us they're a good team over the next 6 games.
Okay, see it.
Next question.
It's open-ended. Will Vegas?
Oh, yes. Will Vegas be a good baseball market?
Will Vegas be a good baseball market?
I'll finish the question for you, Brent.
It's like you're reading my mind.
I'm going to say, I'm going to lean towards no. I'll tell you what Vegas has all of a sudden become. A phenomenal hockey market.
Yep.
The Knights are great. And they've done a phenomenal job. And I think because that was an expansion team and it was kind of its
first team in, right? Of the big 4. First team.
And first team. Yeah. I think that's a big deal right there. So I'm going to have less weight, probably also because I don't have faith in A's ownership. And I think that has something to do with it as well.
I agree with you. I would tend to think not a good market as opposed to a good market. I think they'll be fine. I don't think they're going to struggle to draw. They'll play in a 33,000-seat stadium, the smallest in the history of Major League Baseball. They'll have visitors and tourists, obviously.
But that's where I think they're going to shine. They're going to shine of like, I don't mind going to Vegas and saying, I'm going to go watch the Padres face the...
But the issue is going to still be, as opposed to the NFL or even the NHL, they're doubling up the home games on even the NHL. And you're playing Tuesdays and you're playing Wednesday afternoons.
Sure.
And when you play the Rockies, are people actually going to be supporting this team June, July, August if you're not in the playoff conversation. But I think it'll be a fine market, but I don't expect them to make some big splash and just take baseball by storm in Las Vegas. I agree with that. Next question.
Does Tatis hit a home run in the month of May?
Tatis hit a home run in the month of May.
Junior? Fernando Tatis Jr.?
No, senior.
No, I don't think he does. I was going to go with yes.
Really?
I don't think he does. Yeah, I think he's so lost right now. I think he's so lost right now. And I think so much of this at this stage is mental. Look at me. I'm saying they're going 3-3.
What's wrong?
Saying Tatis is not hitting a home run.
Where'd you have him in the power rankings?
Where the hell? What city am I from? I'm just not gonna. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it because I've done it too much. Where I've always said when we've had a question about Tatis is like, oh, I think he's gonna get it. I think he's gonna get it in this series. So I'm gonna say no. Maybe I'm trying to reverse psychology.
I like it. Reverse jinx. I'll say he'll do it. He will hit a home run between now and is it 9 games? I mean, 9 more. That's not nothing. That's 40 more plate appearances.
How about our guest from the age? Like, can we wait till the? I'm like, brother, him and Manny have waited.
I know all year. Kevin Acee had something yesterday for me on YouTube, which was incredible because it was a question I asked him here. I'm like, I need you to do this deeper dive. I said, has there ever been a player to hit 42 home runs in a season and then go this long without homering? He did that deep dive. There's one player in baseball history to have ever done that. Luis Gonzalez hit 57. Interesting. Okay. He hit 57.
Not that interesting.
Exactly.
You know how we got 57.
Exactly. And then he went a stretch of more plate appearances of not hitting a home run than Toddy. That's the only example in baseball history.
Is there oh my gosh, the only example?
Now there's 66 examples. Is there 66 players of the 42 home run season? It's not like there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of examples of players.
Sure.
But still, he's in the rarefied air of one of the 66 players have ever experienced what he is experiencing.
That's wild.
Is that not insane?
That's wild.
That's what I said. I'm like, that's wild. But it makes sense, right? You're thinking to yourself, well, who else goes 50 games without hitting a home run?
I know.
Even if you're not a power hitter. All right, more of your talkbacks on the other side. Plus, Anthony Slater as we get ready for the Thunder and the Spurs, this critical game 3. And Kevin Acee is going to be on the show, folks, at 5 p.m. So don't go anywhere. We're giving away the 4-pack of tickets as well to the San Diego County Fair. Your talkbacks are next here on Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app.
San Diego Sports 760 congratulates all our winners in iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher powered by Donors Choose. There's still time to donate to a classroom project, and your donation will be matched by Donors Choose. Help us say thank you to the educators shaping our future right now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers. That's iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
Kevin Acee at 5 p.m. Our Padres Insider, Anthony Slater, covers the NBA for ESPN. Will join us at 4:30. Let's get back to the talkback, Mike, because you can win a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair. Hold on one second. As Alan drains another crumpled up piece of paper in the trash bin.
I Euro step too. Like those that don't, I want people to understand something. There's athleticism.
And then there's that.
And then there's a guy sitting here moving his head as a pump fake.
Like I have come to appreciate watching Victor Wembanyama in NBA games, but when I see your skill set in crumpled up pieces of paper into a trash bin, it's almost like what you're doing is more impressive.
Yeah,
than
the
what
Euro
he's doing.
step to me is like you're looking at me and all of a sudden you look at my left leg and he's like, wow, he's planting his left leg, yet he's leaning towards the right.
It's very impressive.
You saw that, right?
It was really impressive.
Okay, that should do it there on that shot.
If you want to win a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair, open the iHeartRadio app, search for San Diego Sports 760, click on the talkback mic, and tell us if you see the Padres as a contender, like this listener.
Hey, guys. So as far as the Padres being 6th in the power rankings, I think that might be a little bit too low. I see them more as like being in the 8 or 9 range. I've got Atlanta, the Dodgers, Milwaukee,
the
Cubs,
what have they done?
Tampa Bay, and Cleveland as all being better than the Padres at this point. And so I think that puts them around 8. Thanks, guys.
Good talkback.
Nice breakdown.
That was good.
Very polite.
So he said 8th or 9th. Anyone that thinks 8th or 9th, I can't see that. Why would someone say 8th or 9th? I think 10th or 11th makes a lot more sense. Now, Alan says
anyone who says 8th or 9th
is
like me, you can't trust.
Right, but 10th
you just
or 11th
can't trust that.
Makes sense to me.
I got one of these on YouTube. I'm going to read here. Slee was saying that Tatis Jr. won't hit a home run in another week or so, ?
Yes, he did.
Why
say
would
that?
that be?
Why is that a surprise?
Here's my question to the question mark.
Yeah, what's the question?
He hasn't hit a home run yet. I mean, like, wouldn't the odds be more in favor? Listen, I hope I'm wrong by in 2 hours when they start playing and he leads off that game.
Right. Tag him if he's wrong. Right.
Which is
at Alan Slewa.
Which is phenomenal. That'd be great. But I've played this game enough before. And I've said every single time I think Tatis is going to hit one, and he hasn't. So I got to mix it up a little bit here.
Okay, can I ask you this question?
Slider after slider.
You know how Craig Stammen said today that he doesn't envision moving Tatis down, and he backs that up again. You know, he's leading off here tonight. I think he's leading off. I'm 98% sure. Brent, is he leading off? He's leading off. So at what point do you move him down in the lineup? If you're not willing to do it after 50, is it 100? What is the moment?
I got the number.
Never?
I got the number. I got the date. May 22nd. They should move him down the lineup.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, and I think there's something that's happening here. And listen, managers, they have to talk to Tatis every single day.
No, definitely,
and they have to address him, and they have to figure out solutions. You and I can sit here and say enough is enough, Tatis.
100%.
We need you batting 6th or 7th or 8th or whatever the case is. But there's going to come a time where you have to ask yourself this question. You have to ask, all right, I'm trying to play with the psychology game with Tatis. I'm trying to make Tatis still feel like we got all the confidence in the world in you. There's going to come a time where I don't know what the solution is, but does it become a detriment to the team by you having him in the leadoff spot? Luckily for Fernando Tatis, there are a lot of players that play for the Padres that can't hit right now. So it's not like, well, there's an obvious leadoff spot guy, or here's all these other averages that you have from these players where it's like your Tatis is being forced to come down in the lineup. So I think it's not there because you don't have 6-7 guys that you're depending on right now with their bats to begin with.
You know, it's funny too. Here's the other thing. If you move to like my theory of like, just move them down. It's not just my theory. You're talking about, everyone could easily see it, but I'm like, hey, bat him 9th. But you just brought up an interesting point. Who else is a candidate to bat in front of him? It's not like everyone is hitting. You have a player or two. Miguel Andujar and Gavin Sheets have held up their part of the bargain. Ty France as well. But it's not like if you put him ninth, you have 7 or 8 candidates that should be hitting in front of him.
Fermin, not hitting.
In front of him.
Laureano,
right.
not hitting. Manny Machado, not hitting. Xander Bogaerts. What did you say Xander was over the
180 in his last 20?
Jackson Merrill,
not hitting. 20 returns.
Tatis, not hitting. As in, there isn't this, oh my gosh, what are they doing? Because you're looking at, when I was at the game, it's funny, I was game a couple of days ago, I'm just looking at all the averages. Like, Jesus,
they're all bad.
Lord.
Yeah, they're not good.
Listen, and let me try to be optimistic here for a quick second. I mean, what is this team if all of a sudden Machado and Tatis started being Machado and Tatis?
Do you think they'd be better than this winning percentage? Like with their next 50 games, if Machado and Tatis or Machado and Tatis, walk that path with me. They are them. Their career numbers.
Yeah, they're better than I think they're better than the pace that they are now.
So what would that look like? Like, you know what I mean?
But and that's my point.
32 and 18.
My point is that when we threw the question out there, are the Padres right now contenders? Part of our calculus on that is, well, these guys aren't doing anything, so that can't be sustainable. But if all of a sudden, and this can happen in one freaking at-bat, it could change everything.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, if Tatis and Machado just start being the players that they're supposed to be, everything changes. Everything changes with this lineup.
We would absolutely love to see it, including this weekend against the Athletics. Let's get to the NBA. Anthony Slater covers the NBA for ESPN. Oklahoma City tonight as a dog is the first time as an underdog in the postseason since when? How many consecutive games has OKC been favored in the postseason? We'll share that with you coming up next. Plus, Anthony Slater from ESPN on the other side. Kevin Acee at 5 p.m. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live from the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by eBay. Padres and A's are getting set for a series tonight down at Petco Park. It's going to be Jeffrey Springs going for the Athletics and Walker Buehler on the hill for the Friars. First pitch is set for 6:40. We got game 3 of the Western Conference Finals tonight when the Thunder takes on the Spurs. The tip will be a little after 5:30. As of right now, Dylan Harper is still a game time decision for the Spurs. De'Aaron Fox is still listed as questionable, and Thunder forward Jalen Williams is also listed as questionable with a hamstring. Tomorrow night, SDFC is back at Snapdragon Stadium to take on Vancouver. Our coverage begins with Adrian and Darren at 6 o'clock. eBay is home to millions of finds, and each one becomes part of your own story. From your favorite vintage band tee to the dream car you've been searching for, or the foul ball you heroically gave away, it's all still there on eBay. eBay, things people love.
All right, this is an insane note as we welcome in Anthony Slater. He covers the NBA for ESPN. ESPN just had on television that the OKC Thunder have been favored in 33 consecutive playoff games, and they are currently a 1.5 point underdog for game 3 against the Spurs in San Antonio.
It's not accurate. Lakers were favored for 3 of those games.
Yeah, exactly.
They got that wrong.
Anthony Slater with us right now. Do you have a good feel? We mentioned the fact that the Spurs are favored, but there's all these players that are questionable tonight, whether we see De'Aaron Fox or Dylan Harper or Jalen Williams. Do you have a good feel for the way tonight plays out, considering these big injuries heading into game 3?
Yeah, I mean, I highly doubt we see Williams, right? It feels like one of those fake questionables. But we'll see. You know, I mean, look, he left with a hamstring strain that continues to recur. Like, they need to be careful with him, not even just for now, but long term. You know, I was in in Minnesota when Fox got the high ankle sprain. It seems like people forgot what happened, but, you know, Dosunmu kind of crashed into him and like inverted, twisted. I kind of expect to see him. Actives are due pretty soon. And you could tell these teams are kind of trying to be coy with each other on who will or won't play. But I mean, look, if you told me all 3 of the questionables are out, I think that is like a big concern for the Spurs. The Thunder has been comfortable this year playing without Jalen Williams, right? I think, what did he play, like 33 games, something like that?
Yeah.
They just you guys saw it, they swept the Lakers without him. But you know, San Antonio without Fox and Harper means ball handling trouble, right? I think Castle has done a lot of awesome things in the series, but he also has 20 turnovers in 2 games against the hounds that are like the perimeter defenders on Oklahoma City. So I think San Antonio needs at least one of those guys to be active.
Anthony, what's it say to you, the ratings that this series is getting? And I guess my question is more, I mean, a lot of times you try to look at, well, it's got to be the Lakers, or it's got to be the Warriors, or it's got to be the Yankees, this, you know, you're obviously looking across all sports. What do you think it means that you got this many people viewing these games, and it's not the big markets, but obviously there are big time players in the series?
Yeah, I think you just need good storylines, big stars. I think it's good for the league, number one, obviously, to get those type of ratings. That's, you know, I imagine NBC's got to be pumped. This is their first conference final since they, you know, got the NBA back, and this is what they get. Not too big a surprise, right? It's this budding theoretical dynasty that we've all been talking to, trying to, you know, go back to back. They had a dominant season, but you have this very unique rising superstar that is trying to take them down, and maybe potentially, if he does, like, build a budding dynasty of his own. Like, I think that storyline in itself, you know, excites people. And then you guys turn it on. I mean, Wembanyama, like 4 to 5 times a game, I'm like, gee, you know, you just like recoil when you see him do something. I mean, even the tip backs that he had in game 2, where it's like, you know, he's going under the rim for a layup, and and then suddenly you see him like leaping backwards, and this like arm just kind of goes over all these other 7-footers to tip it back in. Like, it's unbelievable to watch. I mean, I covered, like I said, the Minnesota San Antonio series, and in person, it's even more insane. But I'm not surprised that there's a ton of casual NBA viewers, I guess you would say, that have probably heard about the Wembanyama hype and are kind of tuning in to see what it's all about.
It's interesting you say that. Anthony Slater is with us right now. How do you balance like how good San Antonio is, the Wemby hype, to the way this series will play out? As in, do you trust the reigning champions over the next 5 games, or do you trust this young, up-and-coming, can't-miss team led by a 7'4" center that we've never seen before? Like, what side do you trust more from here on out?
Personally, I would trust the Thunder a bit more just because they're proven they're more experienced. I mean, both teams are young to a degree, but Oklahoma City's done it. San Antonio, this is their first playoff run. San Antonio's one win in the series was double overtime where Wemby played, 48 minutes? If you go look at his career, he's always been treated very carefully. Like, I don't even know how many games he's played over 40 minutes in his career. It's a pretty low number. So as a 7-game marathon series goes on, and I'm actually going to go out and cover the backside of the series, and it is every other day. And for them to get wins, for San Antonio to get wins, it feels like he's got to play 40-plus minutes. So I just wonder how he is going to, wear down or not over the course of the series. San Antonio is not as deep as Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City's 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th men, in my opinion, are much better than San Antonio's 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. And then you're already, right now it feels 2-1 in injuries, right? We were talking in the lead-in about who's questionable right now. So if I was to just predict, despite Wemby's greatness and clearly the fact that he can win a game or maybe multiple games by himself, I just trust the infrastructure, the depth, and the experience of the Thunder a bit more.
Anthony Slater covers the NBA for ESPN, taking some time joining us here on the Schaefer and Sliwa Show. Anthony, I'm curious, let's just assumption that the Knicks get to the NBA Finals. How far are the Knicks from one of these two teams, whether it's OKC that gets there or San Antonio? You think they got a legitimate shot of winning the whole thing?
I mean, I think they're pretty far personally, but, a lot of the evidence that you would use to say how great the Thunder and the Spurs are is like the regular season numbers and the win totals and the net rating and the point differential. And like the Knicks right now are doing that in the playoffs, right? I've seen all these stats in their 9 straight wins. It's like the most, collective plus minus of any run in recent memory. I mean, they've been just mostly blowing teams out. I thought what they did to the Sixers in the second round was really impressive. The way it feels like they've switched up their style of offense depending on the opponent, the way Towns has shown to be a much better playmaker and passer. As long as OG Anunoby's healthy, I was really concerned when he got the hamstring injury, but you've seen now he's been back. Can he shake off rust? I think he would be hugely important in a series against the Spurs or Thunder. I would lean Thunder. I know Vegas is probably going to, I would guess, pretty heavily favor whoever comes out of the West as long as they're healthy. But this is the best the Knicks have played, I think, over this, if you include all the Tom Thibodeau's years, what is this, like a 4-year run or so for the Knicks? I would say this is the best they've looked on this type of stage. But look, I'm probably taking Thunder or Spurs in 5 or 6 games.
And a quick follow-up on that. Let's just kind of stay in the Western Conference here for a quick second. So you've obviously spent a ton of years outside of covering just the NBA, but the Warriors as well. I spent a lot of years covering the Lakers. How far is the rest of the Western Conference from the Spurs and the Thunder? So just I guess in general, as we've watched the playoffs play out, clearly this is the two teams. Clearly these are also teams that are going to get better over the years. They're still super young. They got a lot of assets. How big is that discrepancy? How much does that grow over time, you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think we just got an example of it in the second round. Again, I know no Luka, but even if there was a Luka, Alan, you watched some of those regular season games when Luka was involved. I mean, those two teams did not feel particularly close. So there's a huge gap on that side of the bracket, it felt like, in the West playoffs. And then I covered the other side where, Minnesota, I thought really impressively took down Denver. And it feels like Denver has a lot of question marks. They were supposed to be the third team, right? The potential challenger to either of these teams in the playoffs. They wilted in the playoffs. They're talking about maybe trading anybody on the roster that's not Nikola Jokic. So it feels like they are getting further away. Minnesota, like I said, the team that won that series and I covered, I mean, as that San Antonio series went on, I mean, being around the Timberwolves a lot, it's like you could just tell, particularly with Wembanyama, they had no answers. Now they're going to go to the offseason, probably going to undo their front court. They're going to try to figure out how to upgrade over Julius Randle. But it feels like they are far away and getting further. So to answer your question, any of the teams under those teams, it doesn't feel like they're shooting up the standings. So it's widening. It's big and it's widening. And I don't like injuries can always shape this. Like, for example, we felt last year that the East was going to be a Boston Celtics, walk to the finals, and Tatum tears the Achilles, the Knicks emerge, Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers have a surprising run. Like, interesting, unforeseen stuff happens in sports. But obviously right now, as you're looking, it just feels like it's going to be a lot of Spurs Thunder West finals over the next, half decade.
Just the next decade or so.
Yeah,
Anthony Slater from ESPN with us right now on Schaefer and Sliwa. Do you think LeBron stays or goes this summer?
I'd predict stay. You know, clearly there's some stuff to get sorted out. Clearly there is, you know, issues and I guess negotiations going on that I think it'll be. I would almost ask y'all, or particularly Alan, like what's your read on it? Because it kind of just feels like they're both playing a negotiation tactic game right now, even though it seems like they both probably still need each other.
I think I'm surprised if he's gone, right? And I would tell you that. And to be completely honest, whatever ends up happening, I think and John, you've made this point, just the further you kick the can down the road of fully kind of building around the Luka infrastructure, it's important to do so as soon as you can. But I kind of find it difficult to think that he comes back year 24, which I don't think anybody's really questioning anymore. Now I'm kind of shocked if it's like, hey, he ended up with the Warriors or he went to the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm now surprised if he does anything other than stay with the Lakers. I think what you said, Anthony, too, they almost kind of both need each other.
Yeah, and it feels like there's some leveraging going on here for money, right? And like, you know, what the Lakers can and are willing to pay. Obviously, there's cap space machinations and all that matter, and there's dates that matter coming up. But also, you mentioned that the teams that are talked about as ending spots, Warriors, Cavs, some of these other teams, like it's not like they're sitting there with max cap space.
Sure.
I think this is a completely different conversation. If like there's a bunch of teams waiting out there to give LeBron James 3 years and $180 million. I mean, you're talking about mid-level, maybe. You know, there's even talk about like, well, you know, if it's Cleveland, would he have the minimum? Like, that's never been LeBron James' style, right? To take massive cuts. And I think that's part of what's going on with the Lakers is maybe a little bit of nudging them, like, hey, you know, pay a reasonable rate for what he is still providing on the court, because he still is much more level player. I can definitely hear the argument he's not a max guy. Maybe you need to move on to a degree, but considering what he still did over the course of this season, like he's worth more than $15 million a year.
Here's my question though, before you go, and we're kind of up against it. How do you balance LeBron James saying, hey, we were out talented, and then being LeBron James and be like, yo, I'm worth more than you think I am, but that takes away from your ability to add talent around you? Like, it just seems like they're already in a corner when he comes back. Like,
but can't LeBron also be saying like that? That's not him to figure out, right? Like he's not running the front office. It's almost as if he's saying like that's on them that they don't have the talent.
But is he content then to spend his last year just knowing what are they, the 6th best team in the West, fifth best team, 4th best team?
Yeah, that's right. But you know, and also I think if part of his argument would be Luka wasn't there, right?
Sure.
The biggest talent on your roster played 0 minutes of that series, but that's, you know, you could ask that into almost any star in the league, right? You know, it's like Steph Curry, for example, that I cover most primarily the Warriors, is up for potential extension in August. And it's like, it's got to rearrange his like fading years and get more talent on the roster. It's like, okay, Steph shouldn't he take then a massive pay cut? But then it's like, you know, guys don't typically do that. They're not just sure if Steph Curry was willing to take the minimum, they could do a lot of stuff. They could maneuver a lot, you know, around, but that's just not how historically guys operate.
Why is Steph being so selfish, man?
Come on, man. What has he done?
Yeah.
Anthony, appreciate you taking
stuff,
time
brother.
for us. Great stuff. Appreciate you taking time in San Diego. All right.
Yeah.
Anthony Slater with
Thank you, man.
And so one thing I've always said about LeBron and Steph is like, it would be one thing if you've won something. That's the
Where's their value?
That's
What
one
have
thing
they
I've always
done?
said about like Jordan or like LeBron or like Steph, or like Wilt or like Russell.
It's an interesting
You know?
question. I like the you know what you said about kind of tying that together.
Yeah,
In
talented.
one hand, you're saying
We're talented.
and then it's like,
Pay me.
but I wonder for LeBron. I don't think anybody thinks he's getting 50.
Right.
I don't think anybody thinks he's getting 40.
But what is the number?
Is he making a claim like, hey, don't be under 30? Just, you know, again, as you're positioning yourself.
Kevin Acee at 5 p.m. But on the other side, an interesting article about the Padres with the deadline a couple of months away. Would they really add another closer? They have Mason Miller. Are they really entertaining that idea? That's next on Schaefer and Sliwa. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. Kathy, have a good weekend. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Hope everyone has a safe Memorial Day long weekend. If you do have that here around San Diego County, Kevin Acee is going to join us in 10 minutes.
Kathy was ready to go.
Look, it's a gorgeous day.
Kathy heads our sales department there. So,
Yeah. So it's a great way to start off a long weekend. And again, Kevin Acee will join us coming up in 10 minutes. The breaking NBA news. De'Aaron Fox, Dylan Harper have been cleared.
They're both
Williams is out. So that obviously impacts the way most will look at game 3. People didn't think Jalen Williams was playing.
Yeah.
People thought probably one of those two guards would play for San Antonio.
And they're both in?
And they're both playing. They're both going to play.
So we did the wrap a little bit earlier, and we were giving our predictions.
Yeah.
And you picked Oklahoma City.
Oh, you better believe I did.
How do you feel now about that pick, knowing that the two guards for the San Antonio Spurs, I mentioned it, Anthony mentioned it as well. You can't, it was like kind of the story of the Houston Rockets. You need a point guard. You need someone to
that helps
to direct things.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a quarterback that's throwing 4 touchdowns a game, but you need a quarterback that can manage. You know what I mean? So
Castle had literally set an NBA record for turnovers.
20 turnovers. And I don't even blame him.
Yeah, exactly.
You're playing probably the number 1 defense in the NBA, and you're asked to run point. But that's significant. It's also significant because even if you were a little bit more strategic with the De'Aaron Fox one and maybe thought, hey, we got game 1. You mentioned this to me. You're like, is there a way they got game 1 that maybe they're saying to themselves, let's make sure this guy is good for the rest of the series. Worst case, you're tied 1 apiece. But the Harper one's big because, if he's coming back, then that injury, it actually wasn't an hamstring. It was like an oblique thing,
adductor,
something like that. Oh, adductor. That's what it is. Yeah.
Here's the thing. My concern for the Thunder on one hand is Jalen Williams, the hamstring thing's probably more than a game or 2 or 3. But on the other hand, to Anthony Slater's point and to our point over the course of the postseason, he never plays. And all they do is win without him.
But you can't win I don't think, I said this earlier, I don't think you can win an NBA Finals without Jalen Williams.
Can you win this series without him?
I don't think you can.
Do it. Okay.
I don't think you can.
By the way, doubling down on the Thunder tonight.
I thought even with Jalen Williams, I gave Spurs the edge. You take Jalen Williams out. Now, maybe all of a sudden they're more accustomed to playing without Jalen Williams because it is odd to throw that type of a player in, but you need Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams, and by the way, you don't just need Jalen Williams. You need the version of him.
Really good. I think. Listen, long series. Obviously, it's not going 5 games. This is
Your
a 6 or 7 game series.
So upset with you.
Thunder in 7, which is what I said from day one. You said Spurs in 6.
No, it's a 7. He's got Spurs in 6.
I said Spurs.
Stay the course. Hold the line. They are fine. Deepest team in the NBA.
Yeah.
They outscored San Antonio's bench by 100. Now, San Antonio didn't have a bench because of their injuries.
You're 1,000% right with everything you said. My only question to you is, why do I feel like your voice is trembling a little bit when you say
this was going to be a hard game, fully healthy both ways?
Mm-hmm.
First conference final game in San Antonio for forever. Victor Wembanyama's first home game in a conference finals.
Yep.
You're getting a punch. Nothing easy about this if you're Oklahoma City, regardless of the fact. I just trust in their ability to win in the postseason, and they don't lose. 64 wins 2 years ago. I don't even know what the math. You know what I mean? The 60-something wins 2 years ago, and they didn't win the finals. The 60-something wins last year, they did win the finals. The 60-something win, all they do
is win.
Here's
a question I think you got to ask yourself. All they do is win.
No matter what.
But they took 100%, John. And I always want you, whenever there's an opportunity to rap about something, I want you to jump on that. Because that's what a lot of our listeners think of when they think of you, is you dropping bars.
Win, win, win.
Yep, 100%. With all that in mind, 100% lost my train of thought. Because I don't know how I'm going to go from you rapping to me getting back to a point that I was going to make.
What were you saying?
I don't remember.
It was something about all they do is win, but then you were going to make a point on San Antonio.
I was going to say that all they do is win. However, they got 2 Game 7s last year. So it's not like they were never challenged. And I would tell you, this year's Spurs team, they just got this.
It's a good point.
Depth, and I'm not even just depth, but they got everything you need to win it all. And without Jalen Williams, that's a tough road for the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's not going to be easy.
I was looking at the lyrics for that song, but I'm not going to read them. All right. So anyway, Spurs and Thunder game 3, this critical game 3. I love when people always do this in the postseason. They're like, this pivotal game 3. They're all pivotal. Game 2 is pivotal.
Yes.
So every game is a critical or pivotal, maybe not 3-0. This series, this clinching game.
Okay, but
by and large, they're all pivotal.
here's where I'll disagree with you. There's like game 2 wasn't pivotal to the San Antonio Spurs. It was pivotal for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Now it's pivotal both teams.
No, I think this one is more, if you're San Antonio,
better win.
You got 2 of your players back. You're playing at home. Jalen Williams is not playing. This one feels more pivotal for the Spurs than it does the Oklahoma City Thunder.
I like that.
Just like the next 3 games are pivotal for the San Diego Padres over the A's.
No matter what.
Kevin
Acee, our Padres insider on the other side, the latest on Jackson Merrill and his health heading into this weekend series against the Athletics. Plus, more of a conversation about what the Padres may do with the trade deadline now 2 months away. We're here until 6 p.m. We're giving away a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair. Hour 3 of Schaefer and Sliwa on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app is next.
This report is sponsored by eBay. The Padres and A's are getting set to start their series from Petco Park tonight. It's going to be Jeffrey Springs going for the Athletics and Walker Buehler on the hill for the Padres. First pitch is set for 6:40. Western Conference Finals Game 3 between the Thunder and Spurs is set to tip off here in about 40 minutes. Let's see. Dylan Harper and De'Aaron Fox are both cleared to play, it looks like, and Jalen Williams is out for the Thunder. We got SDFC versus Vancouver tomorrow night right here on San Diego Sports 760. Our coverage with Adrian and Darren begin at 6 o'clock. eBay is home to millions of finds, and each one becomes part of your story. From your favorite vintage band tee to the dream car you've been searching for, or that foul ball you heroically gave away, it's all there on eBay. eBay, things people love.
All right, final hour here of Schaefer and Sliwa as the Padres get ready for the Athletics. Game 1 of a 3-game series. The homestand continues. Always our pleasure to welcome back our Padres Insider to 760, Kevin Acee, with us right now. Kevin, I know Craig Stammen spoke on this earlier, and you tweeted about it as well. The latest with Jackson Merrill is the Padres believe they avoided what could have been an IL stint, and he's day-to-day, right?
Yep, there you go. Could be tomorrow, the next day. Maybe it's against the Phillies, but they expect him to be able to play. He's just sore.
All right, so Merrill is out at least for the day. What impact in general, I mean, with the way he has been struggling, when you look at this lineup, you put Bryce Johnson in, you take Jackson Merrill out, at least for a day or two, it doesn't necessarily have an impact considering the way Jackson Merrill's been playing, right?
You would have to say realistically, right, that it doesn't. Like, I mean, your hope, your overall sense of what Jackson Merrill's capable of, you think, then yeah, wow, that's a loss. But you can't possibly say that it is right now. And look, I mean, there's a thought by people, in the organization that it's not the worst thing in the world that the guy gets a few days to reset because nothing else is working. And he's kind of so like discombobulated right now that, why is this a bad thing as long as he's not hurt badly?
Kevin, you surprised at all that Tatis still leading off? Does that, and maybe this is based off of your listening to Craig Stammen after every game. You surprised that he's there? They should try something different, even though I know they've tried something different a lot. Surprised he's leading off?
I guess my only question is who else? I mean, because it's a valid question, right? With how poorly it's gone, with how poorly the early innings have gone, with, it's just, there's a lot of reasons to go, hey, he shouldn't be there. And then you go, oh, wait, who has worked there and who is hitting? Don't they have like 5-6 guys that are hitting below 200? I mean, so yes, but then living in kind of a world where you go, okay, so what are the solutions and where does he fit? It's like, look, the reality is their best team is with him there. And if they're going to be good, he's going to be good. So yeah, let's just do it.
Kevin Acee is our Padres Insider. You and I touched on this last night on YouTube, but all of a sudden Xander Bogaerts is hit 188 with a 533 OPS in his last 20 games. And I hate to put it this bluntly, but it's like kind of a tale as old as time in San Diego where he can't piecemeal long stretches. He's had months or two, maybe he's had half seasons, but then it's always been followed up with something that doesn't look comparable. Is there any explanation, or is this just how it's gone with Xander? Because he had played very well for this team, but we've seen that before. And to some extent, it's a little bit of here we go again.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of what it is. And I know that we've talked about it a few times of like, what are your expectations of Xander Bogaerts? I mean, he's finished strong every year. So I guess if he could somehow maintain a 700 something until the second half and then have one of his usual second halves, it'll be his best year. I don't really know what else to say about him at this point. Like, the guy puts the ball in play, which means he's going to do better at this point than the other guys that are striking out a lot. But I mean, this is going to, it's already gotten old. We have to talk about it, but like, this between him and Manny and where this is going to go in 5-6 years. I mean, this is just going to become like, we're not even going to be mentioning Xander Bogaerts in a couple of years because if it keeps going like this, right? Like, it's just, I really don't know what more to say.
Well, real quick, let me follow up on that because you and I actually have gone there before. Even a year ago, you made a really interesting observation, which I completely agreed with, which was basically the organization at some point will be at a crossroads based on his performance if there's a lack thereof of performance. Nobody's saying this right now. You didn't say at the time a year ago it was right then. But there is that like crossing point where it's like, at what point is he not providing the value that is necessary for the team on field to win regardless of what he makes, right? Like that's a conversation for somewhere down the road in his deal, right? That's almost an inevitability.
Yeah. I guess it's a conversation as blasphemous as it may sound in Manny Machado as well. I mean, yeah, the team is going to have to do something because those are going to be crippling or potentially crippling contracts. We don't know what the economic structure is going to be. We don't know what, they're going to be able to do, but like they can't be paying these guys in 5 years, like both of them, and having it regress the way it has regressed. I'm not saying it will, like definitively. That's why we watch the games, but like, right now, there's just not a lot of hope, and I'm disappointed in myself that I've gone there. I guess I'm just like, wow, because we got to look at right now, right? And these two guys can help you win right now, and that's what the Padres have to hope too, because they know what it's going to look like in 5 years or 4 or 3 or whatever. They have to hope that these guys get better right now and help them win right now, because they just have to. Or else, I mean, not only is the team going to suck, we are going to have nothing left to talk about, because I just keep coming back to the biggest problem on this team is the biggest players.
Kevin, when Walker Buehler gets an opportunity like he's going to get tonight, what are kind of some of the first things that go? Do you feel good about it? Do you feel? Because I think for a lot of Padre fans, he's had some really nice moments, and I feel like he's holding his own where I had no idea what he was going to deliver for the Padres before the season started. How do you think he has kind of morphed into his own here this season?
Based on that your expectations had to be tempered, I have thought like this is really good. Like, he is a number 5, maybe a number 4 starter. He is giving you not only a chance to win, I think there's that potential in there for him to go out and shut down the lineup. I don't think you could really at this point ask for anything more of him. So I guess, just like everybody else, and then Walker Buehler will be the first guy to tell you this, that got to wait. Let's not proclaim it anything, but based on the money that he was paid, and what your expectations could be, because you weren't the only one, me, the Padres, everyone else was like, I don't know what we're going to get. And what they've got, I think it's a great story.
Kevin Acee is with us right now. We're obviously literally months away from the trade deadline, but I'll pose you a hypothetical in terms of their general manager. Would they be willing to do it all again? A Mason Miller type player is available who's controllable, and you'd part ways with some of the biggest prospects in the sport if that makes this team better, the 2026 team better. You think Preller would do it again this time?
Any position, like the positions that they need, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a closer or not like a reliever.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got to have a lead for that to be worth it. And so, yes, he's fearless. But again, we're months away. So where are they? Are they still 10 games over? Are they 7 games over, but things haven't got better? And so now we're more than halfway through the season, and the underlying numbers, the big guys, all that, it's not looking better. Then I don't think so. But if they are a contender, absolutely, they'll keep doing this until the end of time.
Kevin, you curious to kind of see, we get to that time and new ownership is officially in. Is there a world where ownership's like, yeah, I don't know if I want to keep shipping out all these prospects with, obviously a win now mentality. I still want to have something in my savings. I guess I'm just using that as an example. Do you think about that at all? How the structure of the team can, whatever AJ Preller was able to do in the past, I don't think is a guarantee he's going to be able to do again once new ownership comes in. Is that something that crosses your mind?
Sure, absolutely. And we don't have any idea. What I will say is that Peter's been gone for 3 years, and that Eric Gruber had a big say. He was trusted by Eric Kutsenda, by John Seidler, and they went out and they did it the last couple of years, right? And so I don't know, Eric Gruber is still going to be here and have some sway with the new ownership group, it seems. So I can't say that it's like, we can't just go from Peter to Jose Feliciano and Kwanzaa Jones. We have to say, okay, what has it been under this structure? But yes, valid question at some point, because there was a thought by some in the organization that, like, you know, that were predicting this, that Peter was spending beyond his means, and also Peter was kind of pushing through a few contracts, and namely the contracts we've talked about here, the guys that we've talked about. And so that, like, yeah, I think there might be some more prudence there, and some more like thought about what does this mean for us, not just now. But not that they didn't. I don't want to say that. I mean, Feller's always had his mind up. Look at what last trade deadline, Mason Miller for multiple years. I know it's not real fashionable right now to talk about Freddie Fermin, but Freddie Fermin for multiple years. So you have Ramon Laureano for beyond 1 year. So like, I'm just saying that, like, Peter was like all in for now, and we'll work it out in the future. And I'm very interested to see how that goes.
Kevin, just because you mentioned his name, you surprised the type of season Fermin is having this year?
Yeah. I mean, you know, he still takes a pretty decent at bat, and that just doesn't mean anything when you're hitting this badly for this long. So yes, but I am surprised. Did not think that he had, like, say, the upside. That upside we kept pointing to about Campusano, but like, guy takes a really good at bat. So yes.
To further that conversation with Kevin Acee, our Padres Insider, do you think, for our listeners that aren't aware, do you think it's fair to be critical of Steven Souza Jr., the hitting coach, 49 games into the year?
I think it's fair to ask those questions and wonder why I don't know if it's 5 or 6 guys, right, that are hitting below 200. Good guys, like the guys who never would you dream would be hitting under 200 at this time, and maybe some other guys. But then you look at some other guys that are improved, and you know that Manny Machado is going to be Manny Machado. Like, he's not, I'm not saying he's not listening. He is, but it's like the hitting coach doesn't have a whole lot of sway over what Manny Machado is doing for 12 years. And same with Fernando Tatis Jr. to a large extent. So I think it's a fair question. My answer is no. I am always going to err on the side of it's not the hitting coach. You know, he's not the guy making $30 million. But I think with the widespread issues, their issues against starters, it is absolutely fair to examine. And I went into it last week and probably was leaning more toward, man, I got to take a hard look at this Souza thing. This is when we were on the road. And I still am of the belief this is not on Steven Souza Jr. I really am, but like, it's a fair question.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way, and I feel the same way that it's a fair question, and that's kind of just where they are right now offensively. Kevin, appreciate you taking time for us as always. Have a good weekend, and we'll catch up again next week.
Right on. Take care.
Pretty blunt commentary on Xander Bogaerts and Manny Machado's futures, not their presence, but not their presence like Christmas, their present day, but their futures.
But he's also right about the question of you had no idea what the league looks like in 5 years.
True. Everything could change.
What the money looks like in 5 years.
True.
So, I mean, but there's a reality to, I think most people would tell you, if you're looking at the Padres books, that's why there is this.
Go win.
Just go now. Because we said this before, there's going to come a time where that bill is due, and it might get ugly.
The deals aren't great now, and they look even worse down the road for some of these players. All right, we did touch a little bit on what Preller and the organization may do at the deadline. Could it possibly include adding another frontline closer? Is that a possibility? We'll discuss that on the other side and give away a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair coming up at 5:45. Stay with us. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey guys, it is Schaefer, and you can kick off your Memorial Day weekend with the all-new Humul Casino Resort, the Players Place, and their hotel and spa, because you can experience elevated luxury with their refined hotel stay, rooftop relaxation, indulgent spa treatments, and all the excitement of Humul Casino Resort seamlessly brought together in one unforgettable destination. And now you can take your stay to the next level. They have exclusive hotel packages for you, crafted for the ultimate escape. You'll love all of their food and dining options, including Humul 23, lobster buffet every day. Enjoy all-you-can-eat lobster every day. Dozens of other delicious stations. You can start your morning with their signature breakfast buffet, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10:30 a.m., featuring made-to-order omelets, fresh fruit, and sweet and savory favorites. And make sure to check out Tony Gwynn's Endless Dining while you're there. You can enjoy San Diego's favorite Endless Dining experience. That's Wednesday through Sundays at Tony Gwynn's Sports Pub at the all-new Humul Casino Resort, the Players Place.
Do your big read. SCFC is back at Snapdragon Stadium tomorrow night when they take on the Vancouver Whitecaps. Our coverage with Adrian and Darren begins at 6 p.m. on your home for SCFC, San Diego Sports 760. This is a rematch of the Western Conference Finals last year. Tough game. Tough game.
Let me say this about that. I didn't read this article, full disclosure, but Mark Ziegler, within the last 20 minutes, publishing an article. We're on the air, so it's hard to fully read it.
Yep.
Writes about how great Vancouver is, right? Like, listen to this. This is how he tagged his tweet. They're coming to Snapdragon. They've reached the finals of both the MLS Cup and the CONCACAF Champions Cup within the last season. They're atop the Western Conference. All great, right? Tough opponent. Oh, here's the other thing he drops. And they might move to Las Vegas, which has been reported. I don't, this isn't a breaking news story, but by the way, speaking on the conversation we had earlier about the Athletics, the A's are moving to Las Vegas. Everything has been added in a decade, including, by the way, the possibility of the NBA within the next 2 years, if the NBA confirms
Vegas
expansion.
does not deserve all these freaking teams, but it tells you something. And you know what? It's a good kind of note for San Diego to look at, okay? Because I genuinely believe this. I think the thing that brings a community together most is a sporting event. where you got somebody coming from everywhere. It doesn't matter who you are, what part, how much money, all this stuff. It's the thing that unites the city the most. There's just nothing else that happens that unites the city the most.
I buy that.
Las Vegas has found a way, and I get it. It's not the state of California. Vegas has found a way remarkably to say, we want to get into the sports market. This is what Vegas does. They make things happen. My frustration, I'd tell you with this. I mean, I think we'd all agree with this, and not a, I wasn't here for it, and I don't know all the details of it, but obviously losing the Chargers was what I would say is it's the worst sports moment in San Diego, but I think it's much bigger than just the worst sports moment. We're watching in LA what they're able to host and what that stadium, just the competition of what you could have had versus LA. It's like, wait, why do you want to do that event up there? You could do it down here. We got a 60,000 seat stadium or something along those lines. It's why it's so critical when you have a group like Stan Kroenke that's trying to build Midway Rising, that it's so critical that these projects get done, because Vegas has said, we'll build it and they'll come. And that's exactly what's happened.
Golden Knights 2017, Raiders not that long after.
Yep.
WNBA has the Aces. Mm-hmm. We know that baseball's already coming in 2028. Yep. The NBA could come as soon as 2028.
It's going. I mean,
NBA
it just feels like it's just a
agree.
matter of time. Yep.
Major League Soccer, again, very significant to add to that overall resume. And then all of a sudden you've gone from nothing to everything in one decade. And that's incredible. There's no modern American comparison to that.
Here's the only thing that I would say in one decade, if you told me in 10 years, we have added one professional team here, that would be my goal.
Okay. If I told you, okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying of the other big four.
Of the other big four.
Right. Not
sure.
Right. So, like, for example, the reason I say that, by the way, like WNBA, for example, has been in Las Vegas, has added some markets. If you get a building done like Midway Rising, maybe there's even a possibility for what you currently have. But like, yeah, again, I think you can do some things on the periphery. WNBA's had a lot of success.
Can I tell you this? If you got a shot at WNBA, you grab it in a heartbeat.
No, 100%.
There's nothing you say no to if you're San Diego, because what it could eventually create is, can that be a market for the other sport? Obviously, the NBA.
The WNBA has been so successful.
100%. Yeah. So, but go back to the point you were talking about. Yeah, that's kind of my point.
Like, what if you build, Midway Rising at some point, is critically important. Let's say it gets done. Maybe that's wishful. We're in San Diego. We've had these conversations.
I think it will get done. I think it will be a process.
But here's my point. Would you agree that it's almost unlikely that if the project is completed, there wouldn't be a plan for a significant sports franchise? And I'm not going to lead people down the path like, trust me, the NBA is coming. Trust me, the NHL is coming. But then my mind starts wandering, like, there are leagues like the WNBA that are very successful, that have really garnered a ton of interest in the last half decade.
I got you.
You see what I'm saying? Like, is that
here's what
realistic?
I could tell you. What if you build it, they will come. Right? I'll give you just an idea. And I'll share this with you. Well, it was about a week and a half ago. I think I told you I was going to go meet down with the city of San Diego because I wanted to get some more information of, like, can I just understand what the hell's happening with Midway Rising? I'm a believer in this microphone. I'm a believer in this platform. We're on 3 to 6. I'm part of my reason why I'm back in San Diego. I want to try to help the city of San Diego. I think Midway Rising would be, obviously a huge addition. On Midway Rising, what I would tell you is this. I don't think Stan Kroenke is involved in a project for somebody who's as involved in the world of sports unless he thinks he can get a tenant to fill in a 16,000 seat stadium. Now, listen, there's plenty of other things. Concert venue would be phenomenal for. Does March Madness look at that and say, hey, that would be a great place? Not a Final Four, but is it a Sweet 16 place? Is it one of those? Think about the amount of events you didn't have before. It would be the best. I mean, you got Petco Park, it's outdoor. You got Snapdragon, that's outdoor.
To get an indoor.
You got Viejas, great.
It's a great arena. But yeah,
it ain't going to be what this development would be if they obviously were to build that in Point Loma. So to answer your question, if you're a WNBA, if you are the WNBA and you said to yourself, would San Diego would be a good market for us? I think it would be. NHL, I think that. My point is that I don't think you get that far with building a 16,000 seat stadium, having that in your plans, if you're Stan Kroenke and you don't think you have an idea that there will be something in place for San Diego and his stadium.
I will say from an NBA perspective, not WNBA, the NBA, it feels, I could be wrong on this, it feels like even if you got that project done and we snapped our fingers and it's done by the end of the decade, it feels like you kind of missed the boat, right? The NBA is expanding it now. Like literally, they're going to make determinations this summer.
Yeah.
So it feels like maybe you've missed the boat on that possibility, even if this project is complete.
Here's what I would tell you. I would tell you that I'm probably not as confident in the NBA as well. But what I will say is this. You can't have a conversation, period, unless you have the arena to support.
Right.
So why would the NBA ever even consider you if you don't have a project in play? And that's the thing that I would say. But let's play this off the other way. I think San Diego would be a phenomenal NHL market.
I agree.
A phenomenal NHL market.
But just hear me out for 1 second. I agree. It's not to play devil's advocate. But when I think about the NHL recently, the markets are in the West. Las Vegas 2017, Utah within the last 2 years from Phoenix. The commissioners publicly stated a desire to get the NHL back to Phoenix because the ownership didn't work out, but they had it for 20 years or whatever it was. It's like, and same thing in the NBA. A lot of the movement is in the West, and you haven't yet been the right chessboard move, but maybe
100%.
Maybe it changes.
Here's what I mean, John. Like, in order to make a pitch for your city,
you gotta have to.
If the infrastructure is there, now you can start your. This is why you want to be added here. This is why you want an LA San Diego rivalry. This is why you want to, like, you can make your pitch. You could, it's the idea of, and I think it was very similar in the NFL. If you have an arena down in that, obviously in that project for Midway Rising, just think of the tourism that's coming in. Just think of the amount of people that are traveling from Detroit or this or that. It's like, I want to go watch my team there. Like, San Diego has something that many other markets don't have. It is truly one of the more desirable markets in the entire country. Give them a reason to tell you no, rather than you're not even in the pitch.
Back to the Padres and what AJ Preller and ownership may be thinking when the deadline approaches in 2 months. We'll discuss that on the other side and give away a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair on Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. The Padres and A's are getting set for their series down at Petco Park. It's going to be Jeffrey Springs going for the A's and Walker Buehler on the hill for the Friars. First pitch is set for 6:40. We got Western Conference Finals Game 3 tonight between the Thunder and the Spurs. They're about to tip off here in about the next 5 or 10 minutes. In terms of injury reports, both Dylan Harper and De'Aaron Fox are cleared to play, and Thunder's Jalen Williams is out. Tomorrow night, right here on San Diego Sports 760, San Diego FC is back at Snapdragon to take on Vancouver. Our coverage with Adrian and Darren will begin at 6 o'clock. Ready to upgrade to the perfect sleep setup? Let Mattress Firm sleep experts guide you to the perfect bed at the Memorial Day sale. Top brands, ideal comfort, score unbeatable deals on both. Mattress Firm, they make sleep easy.
All right, there's a couple of it's a good news, bad news with San Diego State and a couple of sports right now that we want to share.
Yeah.
Good news is their baseball team is trying to win the Mountain West tournament in their final year in the league and go to the NCAA tournament. They're the number 1 seed. They opened up the Mountain West tournament today and overcame a 5-0 deficit against the 5 seed New Mexico and won going away. So that's great. That means
they're winning 11-6.
11-6. So they're in the winner's bracket, which means if they win tomorrow, they're in the championship game of the Mountain West tournament, and they'd have to win once before losing twice, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
to make the
NCAA
tournament for the first time since 2017, or maybe it was the spring of 2018. It was the spring of 2018. That's really good news, obviously, for the Aztecs baseball program heading into the Pac-12. The bad news for San Diego State relates to men's basketball, where it's being reported today and at this hour by Mark Ziegler at the Union Tribune that one of their key offseason acquisitions in the transfer portal, Nick Anderson, who averaged over 15 points per game last year at Rice, has suffered an apparent knee injury and will undergo surgery for it and could miss the entirety of the upcoming year. Now, if there's any consolation in there, they can apply for a red shirt. It's not guaranteed to be granted because of his history, by the way. That's more convoluted. But they can certainly backfill his position because the transfer portal remains open. These rosters are not yet finalized in May like they would be 3 months from now. So Nick Anderson was a big addition, Alan, for them this offseason. They've had so much change. You never want to see a player go out like this. He will still be a part of the program. Now the question becomes for Brian Dutcher and his staff is what can you do about it in terms of impacting your roster next year and backfilling for a player that you're expecting to have a big year?
Yeah, that's awful news for San Diego State, and more specifically for him as an individual player, right? To not have that opportunity. I think the backfill that you're talking about, you know, if he was going to have a big enough role with San Diego State University, you're now going to ask yourself who from within their roster could try their best to fill in that role.
Sure.
And then who now, as it kind of gets slimmer and slimmer, and there's some other guys out there right now that are saying to themselves, this could be an opportunity for me to jump in at San Diego State University, show my value, and then go try to make more money next year. It's like, you know, very typical of free agency. It's like Michael King, I'm going to have a contract that I could show it to you this year so I can go get paid the year before the next year. And that's kind of what he's going to run into, and that's what San Diego State's going to run into.
Yeah, so
that's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. Mark's got some quotes from him about the injury, but it's a part of sports. We all recognize it. We're talking about it tonight in the Western Conference Finals.
Sure.
These critically important games that help determine champions, and stars have been out. Tyrese Halliburton tore his Achilles in the 7th game of the NBA Finals, missed the entirety of this past season. And this happens in all sports. Football, Major League Baseball, it's just a part of it, unfortunately.
Yeah, and you know, we said this before. Unfortunately, it's a lot of times the teams that do win, it's not the best team. It's the healthiest and the hottest at the right time. But health is everything. I mean, look at that. We can go through any team that we've ever rooted for. And I could tell you last year we talked about how many times in 2024 Joe Musgrove with his injury and the timing of it. Ramon Laureano last year, what a week before the playoffs start, and not available for the Cup Series. Jason Adam goes down with an injury. Unfortunately, that's part of the game.
All right, so we touched on this briefly yesterday. What Dennis Lin reported in The Athletic, that the Padres are already entertaining the idea of adding relief help between now and the trade deadline. 2 of the names he linked to A.J. Preller having interest in previously, one of which is Aroldis Chapman, who's been pitching in the big leagues for forever and still throws hard as heck and has like a 0.5 ERA. The other is a familiar name, old friend Josh Hader. I don't know if he's a friend or not. Got that big deal with the Astros. They haven't played well.
Yeah.
He's in year 3 of a 5-year deal. the idea of bringing him back, although he is owed a lot of money. Could you see the Padres seriously entertaining a closer when they already have baseball's best closer in Mason Miller?
Could this just be the path that they think, listen, if we're going to win games, it's just not going to be 8-5. We got to win games 3-2.
Yeah.
And could this just be there? Sometimes you're doubling down. It's a perfect example here because clearly they have so many other holes, specifically their bats, specifically their offense. Okay, is it a lot more expensive to go get that guy that's jacking 30 home runs a year? Is it a lot more expensive to go get a starting pitcher or an ace out there? Can they just add some more? I don't think, for me, I think between those two players, I don't think I want to see Hader back. I think the Hader piece and obviously what he's still owed, but I think that would be odd.
Yeah.
I think the Chapman thing, listen, that guy is a beast and he has been a beast for a long time. Let's just say he's not intimidated by any players. Like that's a guy that I could see coming in a playoff game and you have Freddie, you got Mookie Betts or you got Show. The guy's not going to be intimidated, right? Like he's the type of player, or Schwarber's up or something along those lines. I can see him obviously in situations like that.
What I like about him is he's a rental. And the reason I like that is you don't typically have to give up as much for a rental. Now, Preller doesn't typically go for rentals, but he's a rental, so you don't have to give up as much. He's not a position player or a starter, so you're not talking about your top prospects, as in you'd have him for 2 months. And he's not owed that. He's owed $13 million this year, but by the time he gets the deadline, it's 1/3 of that. Josh Hader's a different conversation. The guy got $95 million.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Do you really want to tie yourself up in 2027 and 2028 with him?
Not at all.
I agree with you.
And the history that, I think he left, whether fair to him or not, it's all good, but just that history of kind of Milwaukee screwing him over and it kind of applied a little bit on the San Diego front of whether you're going to pitch 4 outs or whatever the case is, come in the 8th or something along those lines. I don't think I want to deal with that.
It's just an interesting idea that the Padres, who we watch on a night in and night out basis, and they can't hit right now, and everyone talks about the rotation with Pivetta and Musgrove, but the first thing you read about the trade deadline is about bolstering their bullpen. It's kind of fascinating, isn't it? You have Mason Miller, one of the best relief pitchers in baseball history. And by the way, you have other high leverage relievers that have been very successful. But if all of a sudden you can shorten a game even more, that's something that you may want to entertain.
And they may. Again, I'm not. I got to see it to believe it.
Yeah.
Do I think this offense is going to all of a sudden just start clicking? There's some opportunity. It's so low that even right now, if some of these guys just start having average seasons, it's going to look a lot better.
True.
Are they also just counting on that a little bit?
Potentially. Yeah. Hey, listen, I know this. And Kevin Acee said this. He said this 30 minutes ago. If the Padres are actually in it, like they were last year, rule nothing out involving his system, the money they may take on. We don't know because of ownership, but their willingness and desire to make changes or bolster or improve. That's who AJ Preller is. We've touched on this a lot now. I feel like we'll spend a good amount of time in June and July. If the team is winning, like what is AJ Preller going to have up his sleeve?
But that's the part that I don't think we have. I think because it's new ownership, I don't think there's a guarantee it's going to be like, hey, whatever you want to do, go out and do. Mm-hmm. So I think we'll have to wait and see. Again, it could be taking on contracts. Could new ownership be like, why are we going to take on this much more money? Whatever the case is. So I think we got to let some of this stuff play out. I think we want to think that new ownership is just going to come in here and it's, hey, Preller, do whatever the hell you want. But they could also say, like any new ownership comes in, it takes over a company or a business. It's like, so why are you doing this? Explain to me exactly. Like you used to be able to green light everything before. Well, one owner can have a different vision of how he wants to build.
I made a mistake when it comes to the Thunder. I made a very serious mistake. I thought they could win this game. Do you know what the score is? It's been 1 minute and 50 seconds of game action. Very rarely is a game decided at the 1 minute.
Did they just go to timeout 1 minute and 50 seconds in?
Timeout, and they should have. They made a proper decision based on the game.
10-0? It
is 10-0.
Is it really 10-0?
Has a team ever come back from 10 in the NBA?
San Antonio's up 10-0?
They've hit a pair of threes, including Wemby with one of them. And
TV right there.
Yeah, if you could see, it would be helpful. Yeah, if this TV was on. So
We're working
it's
on it.
10.
Give it a second.
Nothing Spurs. Do I change my opinion on this game? I won't do it yet. 10-0 Spurs in their first Western Conference final game in forever at home.
You know, it'd be cool if, when you make bets, that like Vegas or like DraftKings. DraftKings, a good example, right? Give me 30 minutes to take it back after the game starts. You know what I mean?
I'm just kidding. Everything I said, I was just kidding about.
Give me a second. Yeah. Can I have a feel for the game?
That's so funny. Yeah. Can I have like 5 minutes to make a new decision on this?
30 minutes. Give me 30 minutes. We can sit back.
A lot of talk about the health status of these two teams, and San Antonio has taken a 10-0 lead, 1 minute and 50 seconds.
I'm surprised about the 10-0. I'm not surprised about you getting De'Aaron Fox back, De'Aaron Fox and Dylan Harper, and no Jalen Williams there. This is a game that the Spurs kind of have to win.
But you don't see the Thunder getting shut out, right? Not tonight. I just don't see that.
No,
they never get shut out. Like literally, they've never been.
They'll have over 20 points.
Yeah, they'll score tonight. Let's give away that 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair. We'll do that on the other side. Getting you ready for the Padres and the A's, game 1 of a series tonight. Walker Buehler on the mound for San Diego. Updates from the Western Conference Finals as well. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. All right. Oklahoma City has problems.
You're stressed.
They trailed 15-0 tonight.
But they are on a 4-2 run.
They've pulled to within 17-4. Let's react to this in a second. But first, Brent, can we announce a winner of our 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair at Del Mar this year? Let's announce a winner for that. I'm sure Alan has it for us ready to go. All right. The winner of the 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair is Jeff. Congratulations to Jeff.
Good work, Jeff.
Loyal listener and viewer, Jeff. Congrats. You've got a 4-pack of tickets to the fair. Once upon a fair, there was a tale of food, fun, friends, family, laughter, tradition, music, amazement, and more. The San Diego County Fair, the biggest and longest running event in San Diego County, makes its return June 10th through July 5th. Closed Mondays and Tuesdays. Visit sdfair.com to plan your happily ever after, which has not been for the Thunder here tonight in Game 3.
All right. Congratulations to Jeff, number one.
I thought you were going to say to the Spurs.
Thank you to everybody who was part of that callback or the talkback all week long. So we appreciate you guys doing that. Now, we will continue to do it. We're just going to do that more based off of strategery from you and I when we feel like, hey, there's a good question there that we could propose to our listeners. That 4-2 run that San Antonio or that 4-2 run from the Oklahoma City Thunder is now 4-4.
Yeah, 19-4. By the way, we have another full week of fair tickets to give away next week. So be with us next Monday at 3 p.m. So we will be doing the talk back. I think Mike Usher just made us aware. We've got tickets all next week, 4-pack of tickets all next week right here on San Diego Sports 760. Of course, we're off for the holiday on Monday, but then back on Tuesday for a full week here on Schaefer and Slipwood. When a team starts a game like this, seriously, because you've covered the NBA for a long time and watched it for your whole life. Like, what percent of the time when you dominate someone early does something like that hold? I mean, in basketball, the games can change in a 6-minute time frame.
Cut it down a little bit here.
That's what I'm saying.
Here's what I would tell you. I would tell you that clearly San Antonio kind of trying to send a message tonight. So this is their game to lose. Even if you don't have to go up by 15, but something that happens in the NBA so often, there's a little bit of this, and I watch this all the time in the NBA. Once you can establish like an 8-10 point lead, and then a team goes on a run and they cut it down to 4 or 5, the other squad's going to eventually go on a run again and get it back up to 8-10.
Sure. That's
the challenge the Thunder are going to deal with. So Thunder right now are on a little bit of a run. They went from down 15, they're down 6.
9.
Or I'm sorry, down 9. Don't be surprised that now San Antonio coming off a timeout now goes on their own run. So it's very significant. And this is specific because I do think San Antonio understands there's a little blood in the water right now that they're going to try to take advantage of.
All right, so we've got Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals. We have Padres and A's tonight. Again, Mason Miller really briefly touched on this. Mason Miller, at some point this weekend, assumedly, will pitch against his former team for the first time in his career. Of course, came over last July in that trade deadline deal. What is interesting is on their face, these teams are similar. They're similar in record. A's are 2 games over 500. Yes, the Padres have had a better record at 29-20. Run differential near identical, these two teams. A's a year ago, part ways with their closer. They got a really good offense led by Nick Kurtz. I think whomever we had on earlier, their broadcaster said he's reached base safely in 44 consecutive games. I'm intrigued, I guess is my point, by this weekend series. An A's team that's only gotten better by the year over the last 4 or 5 seasons, now in first place in the AL West.
Yeah, there's a little bit too. Like this is your first series after the Dodger series. So you had this real high of playing the defending champs, a franchise that you always feel like you have to fight through to get through. And then to probably one of the more unknown teams in all of Major League Baseball in the A's. So there's just like polar opposite franchises, polar opposite of excitement. And again, like, how do you respond? You lost 2 or 3 from the Dodgers. Are you able to just get back on track and win 2 or 3? Or is this, a bigger issue or a bigger problem?
Jackson Merrill is out. He's not in the lineup tonight. He suffered back soreness and stiffness after trying to take away an Ohtani home run ball. The good news is he's not on the IL. I'd be very concerned, by the way, if he was put on. He was put on 3 times last year. So hopefully he avoids that. Last year, I would never call it a lost season for Merrill, but I do think he took a step back. Some of it was outside of his control because of his health. They're dealing with health situations, Alan. I mean, Jake Cronenworth, he has not been seen. He's been dealing with concussion-like symptoms. Again, it's not the end-all, be-all. Jackson Merrill's out at least a day or 2. Pavetta, Musgrove, like,
That's why the conversation about Tatis is like, hey, move him down, or
like,
or even
where are you going?
Or even the conversation of like, let Tatis be gone for a couple of weeks and come back. You don't have bodies.
Luxury.
You don't have bodies.
Yeah, you'd be playing Bryce Johnson every day.
You don't have guys
for 10 or 15 days.
That ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, it's true. It's like
that is a challenge. That's a big challenge.
There are some bright spots. They're like seriously, they're 29-20, and there are bright spots. I think Gavin Sheets and Miguel Andujar, they've had bright spots. It's not to say, oh my gosh, can you believe what's happening here? Let's see how this weekend and this homestand plays.
But I hate that because you're so right. There's times that I might be talking Padres and I might sound like they're 8 or 9 games below 500.
Right, and they're over.
And I'm not even trying to. It's more just individual topics, individual players, and this is part of the roller coaster of covering a baseball team for 162 games. You can feel so great in one day, and then in the next day, you're like, "What happened to this team?" And it's such a up and down.
Yeah, completely. I'm more so, I think, than just because there's more games. I guess it's so much easier to react to each and every game, and we do tend to do that. I tend to do that as well with baseball. The one point we made earlier as well, this idea that the Big Four, if they did return to some semblance of themselves, what could it mean? Because you are 29-20 with the Big Four that's been the blah four. They just haven't come through by and large for the better part of 1/3 of the season. Hopefully, again, we can't guarantee it. Hopefully that changes along the way. I can't guarantee it. We've said it a lot, but are they really going to perform like this all year long?
What's the plan for the weekend?
Watch the Padres and complain about their offense.
Okay. All right.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to sit in front of the television. No, I mean, obviously, sports, Memorial Day weekend, enjoy the weather, get outside.
Nice. Yep, definitely.
No May Gray today. Hopefully that continues this weekend. It's the worst part of San Diego, huh?
I love that. That's how you started that conversation earlier. Yeah.
What are you doing this weekend?
There's a piece. I honestly just kind of try to chill, hang out with some family, do nothing crazy at all. It's going to be a little hectic too, right? You're trying to go down to the beaches or something like that. This is going to be the weekend where it's. You
think people will be at the beach this weekend?
Oh, my brother.
Could you see people down there?
No.
When it's 75 and sunny out?
Do you stay away? Are you in?
I stay away because of sharks. I don't care about the people. The people have done nothing to me.
You don't have to go in the ocean.
Yeah, but there's sharks.
You're
right.
So you
I don't go.
They have those on land now, John.
You don't go in the ocean?
By and large, no. Have you seen some of the results of people that go in oceans?
Have you seen some of the percentages of things like that happening?
There's, the jellyfish these days. And
you got to get in the ocean.
And there's lots of things that you and I would consider normal that John doesn't do.
I don't consider normal.
John doesn't know how to ride a bike.
I'm a fish out of water. That is true. I don't know how to ride a bike.
That's not a real story.
That is. I can swim, though. I cannot ride a bike. I've never.
It's true.
Yeah, I cannot ride a bike.
We're going to go ride a bike. Like you have
not
to
in
ride
the ocean.
You have to ride a bike.
No, I really don't. And now everyone rides their bike here, but I don't.
You can't say you don't know how to ride a bike.
But I don't.
How? But you just literally
my son doesn't either, which is the worst part about it.
Don't do that.
I haven't. I mean, he can kind of on the training wheels. I can do training wheels.
Kill it on the training wheels?
Oh my gosh.
That's good to know.
Papa wheelies on training wheels.
Mm-hmm. By the way, you're going to get a bike. You're going to ride a bike here pretty
Thunder
soon.
are back in this thing. They're down 5.
Back in it.
They're down 5.
I think even less than that.
4. No, it's 5. 21-16. But if they make this free throw, they'd be down 4. Alan, have a good Memorial Day weekend.
You too.
Our listeners have a great long weekend. Back Tuesday. If you missed anything today, sportssd.com or the iHeartRadio app. For Brent and Alan, I'm John. This is Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. See you Tuesday.